I'm speechless. I don't know what to ask you.
If that's your kink, I'm so happy for you.
I will throw my old Kindle across the room because I'm not doing that.
And now, here are your hosts.
Hello, fellow bookworms. Welcome to Bookmark Your Next Chapter, a podcast hosted by Katie,
Amanda,
And Kristen.
three friends who love books. In this episode, we're going to be covering chapters 24 through 41, aka the last half of the book From Blood and Ash, which is the first book of the Blood and Ash series. We're not going to be doing any spoilers as per usual. We're only covering essentially anything that happens during this entire book, but we have not read book 2, so you don't need to worry about being spoiled. You're getting our reactions as we went through this book. Before we get started, a couple housekeeping notes. Last episode, I had mentioned the spelling or the pronunciation of the main character's name, and I was going to verify it. It is Penelope. I would like to just brag to you all now that I was right.
You were right.
I have no idea. I read it.
I backed up and listened to it 100 times. It's Penelope, as in you owe a fee. Okay, so I was right.
Correct.
And second thing, the rating of this podcast, we are adults and we are going to say adult content things. So mind listening ears if you do not like hearing curse words, because we're going to say fuck a lot. Okay.
And there was some hanky-panky in this.
Yeah, there was, baby.
Okay, like, finally.
Just saying.
All right. So before we get into the actual breakdown of the chapters, overall thoughts on this book, guys? What were your thoughts? Do you liked it? Didn't like it?
I hated how it ended because it literally ends on a cliffhanger.
Facts. I hate
I won't get into
Yeah.
details yet until we get to that chapter, but I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
And honestly, it was like a cliffhanger. It was like a very unexpected cliffhanger.
Yes.
Like, I was just like, wait, what? Like, it went in a direction I just didn't expect. It seemed very sudden and like, huh?
Yeah.
And then I was like, and now I can't even read the next
Yep.
one until we do this. But
And we kind of mentioned this in the last episode, but our last episode we were recording in April 12th, I think we said.
Mhm.
Today is
June 8th.
So we're literally just like, I want to keep reading, and we can't because life schedules, and
here we are.
here we are.
Part of that
So-
was me, and I apologize.
No,
I
it's
really
tough.
struggled with an ebook, and I had to buy the physical book, and
we're
Jeez,
gonna,
Kristen.
we're still getting the hang of this. This is why we started recording so early, so we can back stuff.
Started in April and it is now June.
And this is our third episode.
it's fine.
Totally fine.
Oh, okay. So, like I said, we're doing the second half, which starts on chapter 24. I'm just looking at my notes. So,
I would like to just
yes, please.
interject here.
Please.
I wrote some notes this time. So
Tell the listeners how many chapters you covered, Amanda.
I have 2.5 chapters of notes here. Better than my none.
You know,
The problem is that I was just all of a sudden I'm like, oh, 5 chapters have happened and I haven't written notes. And what's the point in starting now? So we'll see if I can beat my record.
it's an improvement. That's what matters.
That's all I wanted to say.
It's progress. Don't shame her,
No.
Katie.
I'm not. It's
No, I
growth.
deserve it.
It's growth.
It's. Oh,
Don't
boy.
worry, I have more than enough notes for all of us,
Which
and
is
I
perfect.
apologize in advance for
No,
the
it's-
length that this podcast is going to be.
It's fantastic.
Okay, so just to recap,
If you hear a dog, also, it's just one of our
Yeah,
dogs.
sorry.
barking.
yeah, that would be Oslo.
Hopefully these mics are good enough to
Block it
No,
out.
Yeah.
He's very cute.
Just in case. He's
So,
very nice dog.
I'm sure we can edit it out if it.
Whatever.
makes sense.
Future us problem.
Anywho, so just to remind everyone, refresh everyone's brain. So we last left off with they were about to go on their little courtyard walk. They were going to go through the courtyard together,
Sorry.
and Amanda and I thought it
Good
was more of a
call.
cliffhanger.
I know.
than
I'm like, what
Kristen
happened? I
did.
don't even remember.
So Amanda and I were very excited to see what happened on the date, and Kristen was like, I don't see what the big deal is. It's not that big of a hangover.
Yeah, we're like, okay.
I
Okay,
mean, to be fair, it's not as big as a cliffhanger as the end of the book.
That's true.
that's fair. That's a fair point.
That is fair.
Okay, so chapter 24 opens with them going out into the courtyard, and Hawk starts telling the story of his brother and their village. And him not mentioning the name of the village and talking about things that only adults would understand. Maybe it's this. Oh, wow. I don't know what I was trying to say here.
I wrote a note here. Would it be helpful if
Yes, please do, because
I'm trying to like understand what I was writing as well.
Yeah.
But you talking about this, I wrote, he lost his brother and friend. Therefore, his brother is not dead. So he must have talked about like lost in a way of like, I can't find him type thing.
Well, I wondered the same thing. I wrote Hawk lost with quotation marks his brother. But in this chapter, it sounds like he is dead, but we know he isn't.
Exactly. But he's not dead. So that's the only note I wrote in regards to this, was just like, and friend. Was there two people? I wrote lost his brother and friend, unless he was saying his brother was his friend. But that's what I had.
Yeah, I
written
was
down here.
confused by that too, because I wrote, I wonder what happened to his brother and friend. I definitely specified the two.
Yeah.
But my other note said maybe it's the War of Two Kings because he's Atlantean. So I think my thoughts were at this point were like he lost them in lost, quote unquote, in the Battle of the Two Kings, which is like before.
But at this point, we don't know he's Atlantean.
No, we don't. But my theory in this entire book has been
whatever.
Thank you. I was correct. Thank you for acknowledging.
Right.
But this entire book, I've said it.
Was it Atlantean is vampire-y, right? Like there's
that part
now
we weren't sure on.
But so that's why you were on the right track on that, right?
Yes.
Because at that point there was really no differentiation, but we learned that.
Yes. But like the whole time I'm like, Atlantean, like through my notes. I could do a find and search of how many times
you
I said that
should.
word.
You should.
So okay, so then
foreshadowing basically is what's happening.
Yeah.
Here.
Yes. Okay, so the thoughts are that they will hide out in the cottage when she runs from the Ascended. So she had talked about, like, I think, didn't he ask her? I really should have refreshed my brain on
so
this.
what I wrote here, this is I think before what you're getting at, is that Hawk says to Penelope, no one is under the willow tree. I just know. Because she was like, what if somebody's there? And he's like, I just know that nobody's there. So I put like, Poppy was wondering like if this is due to his good tracking skills, and he could see benches that she couldn't under the tree. Like there was like a point being made about that. So in hindsight, like that probably has to do with his Atlantean and the scent and all. Like I don't know.
I think they do mention that Atlanteans have really good eye vision.
Yes.
Right?
So obviously that was foreshadowing again to his.
Because I had noted the same thing, like he has like a talent or something, like knowing no one's under that tree.
Yes.
So I wrote, like same thing. No one is under there, talking about the branches of the willow. Is this his far eyesight? ? Exclamation mark. And then question mark. I didn't write it that time, surprisingly. And he can see the benches when she can't. And then I put eyesight again. So now they're underneath the willow tree. And I wrote, Spice, come on!
Oh, you.
See, I wrote, they kiss E.
I know, it's like, oh, so cute. So they haven't actually kissed yet at this point, because I wrote chapter ends with Hawk kiss me. So I think
I just assumed.
It's being teased at
I was
this
like,
point.
they're doing it.
Okay, and then our chapter ends with Penelope saying, Hawk kiss me. Amanda, do you want to start us off with
I'll just
25?
give you my first note. It's funny. I put chapter 25, almost hanky panky. She says, take me to the ground. Or maybe he said it. I have in quotes, take me to the ground. So obviously this was something that was said while they're about to do whatever they were about to do in this moment. And honestly, that's all I say about it, because I move on to like something else unrelated. So let's hear what you guys have.
Well, he says a quote here that I really liked. He says, you don't have to ask me twice and you never have to beg, princess. And then I wrote, Spice!
Right.
See, I was just like, not like, oh my gosh, Spice. I was like, is there a reason? So he must be kissing her. And he stops right as her tongue was going to touch his teeth. And I wrote, is there a reason why?
Oh, I never picked up on that.
I noticed that.
Because of the sharp teeth.
And did he stop her then? Is that
he stopped her?
Yes.
Well,
and
now we know.
Yes. And he never, like, it makes note how he always does the one-sided smirk because he doesn't want her to see the teeth. I never picked up on that.
I actually have it right up here. So we moved, and I thought I whispered his name before I kissed him again, slipping my tongue between his lips and his teeth. And it's because I'm reading the book, it actually ends the paragraph. And Hawk jerked his head back, panting, as he rested his forehead against my Poppy.
I never picked up on that.
That's cool, though.
That is very cool. That's amazing.
And I was like, And
see, this is what I took from that. I said, oh man, this start-stop teasing is going to be brutal. So here's Kristen being all...
He's like hard to get, and she's like, oh my God, there's a reason. Like, get to it already. Holy, that's so funny.
Ask me about my weed. different mindsets, clearly. Sorry.
Oh God.
Oh. Okay. And then, I was so right on this reading this note. Oh my God. Okay. So they leave the willow tree and they're walking back and like their lips are all swollen from making out.
Yeah.
And they run into
Yes, Victor. Yeah, this is where my notes start.
And I have a quote that says, "It'll be over my dead body that you are alone with her again." And I said, I don't like the foreshadowing. Mic drop.
Oh.
R.I.P. Victor. I'm so sad about it.
At least it wasn't Hawk's fault, but yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just put Hawk and Victor are fighting now. Will he say anything? Will Hawk remain the guard? And I didn't actually answer my questions, but those were like my internal questions as I was reading.
Yeah, that was kind of what I had thought as well. I just put I don't like them fighting. And then I made a comment here, what does Victor see in Hawk's eyes? But I didn't write a quote down. I wrote the timestamp for it. Does anyone remember that? Did anyone take notes on that?
I have
No,
the
I had to
chapter
edit, so-
open. No, we don't edit it. It's
No,
fine.
I just put, I think this happened. So when Hawk and Victor have the little argument, then Poppy leaves with Victor, right? And they start
Yes.
talking.
Yeah.
Because I put Poppy's emotions spill out to Victor now. She admitted to the Duke hitting her and touching her, and she admitted that she wants to be unworthy.
Oh.
And that was like her last like
Mhm.
real raw conversation with Victor before what happened.
Yes,
But-
and I wrote a quote just before that because I also wrote that down. And I said, "We were coming back to come into my room. Victor's eyes go wide," and I went, "LOL."
You know what that means.
But then, yeah, she says, "I want to be found unworthy," and then I said, "She finally said it. Go, Poppy."
Right?
Do you want to add anything to that, Kristen?
I have a quote, but I think this is later on. Because I said I was worried about Victor, his snarl, and you unusually pale.
Oh, like you thought maybe he was sick or something?
Yeah.
Oh. And then I wrote, "The Duke be dead. Woohoo, bye, fucker. The
So
mark of
this
the dark
must have
one."
been chapter 26 then, right? Because I wrote chapter 26. Oh shit, the Duke is dead.
Yeah,
In
I think it
brackets,
happens at
kind
the
of
end.
called it. And I think that's one that I said before
Yes,
when
you
he did.
did.
I'm like, I think he's dead.
Yeah, you did.
I wrote, thank God he's dead.
Yeah. Yeah. I wrote, so Harry Potter reference, sorry.
Oh my God.
I wrote "the mark of the dark one on the Duke, LOL." But I don't remember what it actually was.
I think it was like
Is this
something
in-
through him. Was
Yeah.
it not? Like,
But
a
wasn't there like
spear.
something
It might have said the From Blood and Ash.
Above
That's
him,
what it was. Yes,
On
that's what it
it?
was.
Yeah, above him written in red in blood was the mark of the dark one. From blood and ash,
Yeah.
we will rise.
He
The
did.
dark one. That's so funny.
So then, yeah, chapter 26 starts off with the Duke was dead.
Okay, so
Murdered.
Amanda, go ahead with your.
So I only have one more note beyond that. I put Penelope smells something in the air. Penelope smelled something. Perhaps is this poison in the air? I don't know why I would think that it was poison in the air, but there must have been some sort of note because this is right before like shit hits the fan, right? So
Yes.
was it the mist coming in?
Yeah.
There was something.
Maybe.
It was specific about a smell,
Did you write
but-
anything on that, Kristen?
and I just
No, I
guessed that it
started
was
with the
poison.
Duchess being an idiot.
Okay, so I wrote
She is.
right at the top of the chapter. I said the Duke is killed the same way that Craven are. Interesting. Has to be Atlantean. Hawk, maybe. Which, like, it is, right? That's what we find out
Yes,
later.
he did kill him. Yeah,
Oh, I'm so proud of myself.
right. That's pretty
And then I put
impressive.
the glasses falling from the windows and is puncturing, cutting people. Ew, one coming out of the lady's eye. So this is when like
Yeah.
like
shit has hit the fan.
yeah, shit
Yeah.
hits the fan and people start coming in and then I said an arrow through the ascendant's eyes. Brain and heart are as vulnerable as regular people. Okay, and then I wrote, so this is like when all the chaos is happening, and I said people are just wrapped around Tawny and Poppy. I'm envisioning a giant group hug.
Right, me too. I honestly
of them like
was.
protecting her
Yes.
body or whatever. And then Lauren dies, and I said, "Geez, there's going to be no one left." Commander Jansen, did I say that right? Is that
That's how I think so.
Okay. And I said, "Have we heard of him before? Who dis?"
The name was familiar, but I couldn't
Yeah.
recall. Like I was like, we definitely heard of this person,
Okay.
but I don't know.
'Cause
He's
she's,
just
like-
a background
I'm
guard
like,
guy.
for them to mention the name, like this must have
Yeah.
been talked about
Yeah.
before, but I couldn't remember who it was. And then I said, "Oh, thank God, Tawny is still alive." And then I said, "Fuck, so is Nazine."
I was worried about Tawny.
So
I
was
was
I.
like, this is probably the
Where
time
she
to-
dies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
really worried about it.
Which, like, jumping ahead a little bit, but when they were talking about like when she's trying to get Tawny to come with her,
Thank
and
God
he's
she
like,
did not.
nope, and
Because
now
he knew.
now we know why he didn't
Yeah.
want her to.
Yeah.
Sad face. And then I said, yay, Victor is still alive. What's wrong?
Well, I have like right after like I'm like I wrote the Duchess is stupid, moving them into a room where they can easily be picked off.
Yes.
In this moment, I was like, she's bad.
So did I.
She is hoping that they come. Like I was
like a massacre.
Yes.
Yeah.
She is. I'm like, somebody's
And
gonna be either waiting in that room or knows they're gonna be there, because it was so like,
Because there was no exits or anything.
No.
Right?
I figured it was just her being scared, and like I didn't assume she was evil or anything at this point,
I
because
thought
like
she was.
I was like, she's probably just scared and she's not listening to her the commanders.
People
that she
panic,
pays.
right? When
Right.
they
You know,
fear, but I was like,
She's like, I'm safe in this room. I can only watch the one exit, and it's like, no, you're very easy to pick off.
Yeah. Literally fish in a barrel.
Yeah,
and as an Ascended, it's like she did nothing.
No.
Like,
no,
And they never do. And that's something that Poppy mentioned. She's
Yeah.
like, you could literally, like, your life is a lot more durable than ours, and you could protect us, like, literally with fighting with us and stuff,
Yeah.
and you never do.
Yeah.
Which, like, foreshadowing, they're the bad guys, which we called from the
Yep.
beginning. So then I wrote, the Duke's body is on fire, and then I did the quote from Blood and Ash, we shall rise. And I said, he's obviously bleeding and now burning to ash. Interesting choice of
from
words.
Blood and Ash, that is cool.
Mm,
So I wondered if
That's
that,
got
because they wrote
goosebumps,
that
that's
above
cool.
his
Yeah.
body. So
Yep.
I was like, interesting. And then I said the Wolven have arrived. So at this point, they've busted through the door,
Yes.
and the Wolven have come in, which obviously was this the people that, now that we know
It
that,
would have to have been.
I was
It wouldn't-
thinking, yeah.
because like at the time it doesn't really like talk about
It just seems like Craven, Wolven, bad things happening. Like
Right.
you would never like relate it as like
Yeah.
yeah.
But now looking back, that's probably Hawk's
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
right?
I would imagine so.
So I
Which
think
is
he
why
felt
Hawk
guilty.
isn't there, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
Yeah.
we don't have Hawk at this point yet. She's like, where
No.
is he?
Correct.
Interesting. Okay. I said, so they're just in another room while all hell is breaking loose in the Great Hall. That seems like a bad idea. And then something hitting the door. Yep, bad idea.
Confirmed.
So then she pulls out her dagger at this point, and up to this moment, like, they don't know she's been tricked.
Yeah.
Correct.
So this is like a reveal, like,
yes,
I
this
know what
is
the
the
fuck I'm
moment.
doing.
Yep.
And there's a quote that says, "What are you doing with a dagger, Penelope?" And then she says, "I'm trying my best not to die." And then I was like, boom, mic drop.
Even there, I thought that the
Queen
Duchess was
Or
bad.
Duchess, sorry.
Yeah.
and she was like, "Oh shit, this isn't going to work out now," because
Because she's prepared.
still half-ass wonder if we're going to learn, because now that we know like that they were, I don't know this for a fact, but I think my understanding is that they were going to use Penelope. That's going to be hard for me to do.
I got you, don't worry.
Poppy.
Maybe this was
Just say
confirmed. Yeah,
Poppy.
Poppy. Was it confirmed that basically Poppy is going to be like their new source? of-
Yes,
Yeah.
I
Right?
think that's what I don't know if it was officially, it was hinted at, I think.
So
I don't
it
think
was
it's ever
either she's going to be the new source, or like a part of me felt like they wanted her dead here, and I still think that might be the case, but I don't
that
know
they
why.
want her dead, you
Yes, and then when they were like
Interesting.
she had a dagger, she was like, "Oh shit!"
think? Like, my plan's ruined.
yes,
Got you.
But- who knows?
Interesting. Okay, and I said, it's interesting that the dissenters stopped the attack when the Duchess shouted Poppy was the maiden. I don't remember this part, though. What happened?
I think that she said like, "Do
Like,
you know
why
does
this
the
is-" 'cause she
maiden-
was
yeah.
unveiled at this part, right?
Yes.
So-
Yes, because it was the masquerade
Yes.
party.
So I think that the Duchess said like, "Do you realize this is the maiden?"
I have it open.
Okay, perfect.
yeah.
Read it.
So I'm following along, just so
Perfect.
you know. So it's this, she's the maiden, the Duchess screamed. She's the chosen. What the, is just like a thought. The Descender hesitated, hand tightening around the middle of the axe. I shot forward. So like
But it makes sense
the
now that he
Descended,
hesitated because they want her
'cause they
alive.
want her.
Right. And they, at this point, weren't sure because
And
no
then-
one has seen her face other than Hawk, who is clearly not here at this point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, he's part of
Yes.
this,
Yes.
but he's not. Or is he a part of that? Is that confirmed? Or is this just a separate
I
group?
think that she did ask, "Did you plan that attack?" And I think he said no.
I
Yes,
think I
yes.
think he answered it evasively. I'm sure I have the notes, but I think he said something along the lines of, "I'm not responsible for Victor's death."
I think you're right about that. I
So,
think
yeah,
you're right
like
about
I
doesn't
feel like
say
he might have
attack.
been a part of
Yes,
it, but like he
that's a
didn't
good
mean
call.
for it to go that.
that wasn't supposed to happen.
yeah,
Basically,
that's kind
Like,
of what I took from it.
That's a good point.
And then I said, "No, Victor." So maybe Kristen, you can read what happened.
I wrote Victor sobs.
No, I mean from the book. I feel like we need to.
Have a moment here for
Yes,
Victor.
this is his.
You want me to read? So it starts at some point. Victor twisted at the waist, facing the door, looking to where a wounded descender had risen to his feet. His sword lifted. It hummed through the air, the blade shiny with blood. No, I shouted, but it was too late. The sword found its target. Victor's body jerked, his back bowing as the sword punched through his chest just above his heart. Shock crawled across his face as he looked down. I stared too, unable to process what I was seeing. The descender tore the sword free, and my own weapon slipped from my hands as I tried to catch Victor. He couldn't fall. He couldn't go down. He staggered as I wrapped my arms around him, his mouth opening and then closing. His legs went out from under him and he toppled. He fell. I don't remember joining him as I pressed both hands against the wound. I looked up and tried to call for help.
Ugh, my heart.
And then Hawk's there.
And
I
then
was gonna say,
Hawk
that's when
shows
he
up.
shows up.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
1 second too late.
Yeah.
Like,
The descender's head flew in the opposite direction of his body, and I saw Hawk standing there, his eyes a fiery amber, his cheeks speckled with blood and soot.
So and soot. Interesting.
I was just thinking that must
Ash.
be some.
Yep.
Oh,
Ash.
interesting.
Oh, I don't think I picked up on that. I didn't write a note.
I literally just did right now. I didn't write that down.
Yeah.
So at first when I'm reading this, I'm like, I'm not obviously shocked that Victor was going to die because, like I've mentioned it here, like I think
it's going to happen eventually.
yeah, but I was
unfortunately.
really surprised at how soon. I thought, oh, like he'll probably make it to the end of the book, and like it'll probably be,
Yeah.
second book maybe, like
Hmm.
because I feel like I was already so attached to him, and it wasn't even that far in. Like,
Yeah.
I thought for sure.
I know. Because he's such like a father figure.
I know, like her only remaining father
Yeah.
figure. I was really,
But they
sad.
also had it set up in a way that it almost seemed that Hawk and Victor couldn't exist in the same world. Like they would always kind
Yeah.
of clash almost. But strangely, because they both like love Poppy,
right.
but there's things that they can't know about each other. So it's like, how
Yeah.
could that ever have been?
Worked. Like it
You know what
kind of
I
had to
mean?
be dispatched.
Yes, and Victor had such a long life into like the indoctrination of like their world
Right.
that I bet you he would have been impossible to sway.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But I still wish he didn't die. But I'm just saying, like, it would be difficult for them to.
Yeah.
And he probably never would have let Poppy leave when
No,
Hawk
he
takes
wouldn't
her
have.
away.
Yeah,
Like he
for
would have been
sure.
like, "What are you talking about?"
Or
There's-
he would have went with them. If
Right.
the Duchess was like, "Yep, you have to go. The Queen's calling you." Victor would have went and died at that
But
point.
the Queen doesn't actually call her, right? We find that out.
I think she does.
I think she
because the
I thought-
Duchess. Oh, I don't know.
because remember the second guard was like, "I'm getting bad feelings about this."
I think. I don't know. My assumption was that the Queen did, and I was like, "When is the Queen going to be like? No one showed up."
See,
But maybe it was all
I
fabricated.
think I took it. Maybe I don't know. I'll have to read my notes, but I'm pretty sure I remember thinking this was all fabricated and Hawk.
I don't think it has said one way or the other.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting theory because
okay.
I assumed at what point is the Queen gonna
Yeah.
wonder
Because I think I wondered the
why
same
Poppy
thing.
hasn't shown up.
Okay, so then I put a gold eye watch, so it must have been mentioned again. And then I said, "I have failed you as a man," he says, looking over Lord Asshole. Victor apologizing for not stopping the lessons, I think. Oh my God, this is so sad. So he hasn't actually quite died yet. He's like basically
Yeah.
apologizing to her, like, I
Yeah.
should have stepped in. or
Yeah.
whatever. This is probably just desperation speaking, but do we think blood and ash, we will rise again, can mean like rise from the dead? If Hawk is Atlantean, can he help bring Victor back? And it's probably just me like wishful
Probably
thinking.
not, but that would be so.
I know. I was like, I don't want to say goodbye.
I don't think so. Because I think it's like the
As a
we will
nation,
rise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I was clinging to desperations.
No, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I
Totally
don't
valid.
blame you.
So then following this, Poppy loses her fucking shit and
Goes on a murder vengeance
murder.
I was gonna say
Good
murder
for her.
spree, but it wasn't really murder spree. It was just one targeted.
Yeah.
Good for her.
And
Well
she's-
deserved.
She
as
said
much
her
as I don't
lessons
condone
didn't teach
murder.
anything. And I said, "Go friggin' off, Poppy. Destroy that fucker."
Yes, queen.
And then I wrote a quote here towards the end of the chapter that Lord Mazine is making sounds that sound like when the mist comes in. That was not said for no reason.
Oh.
So maybe can you find that actual quote? Is it there?
Do you think that the mist comes in because it's summoned and he was in
Like-
his death attempting to summon like
The Graven?
Oh.
to like help save him almost like as a like if you were dying you'd scream for help, right?
Right,
Like
right,
it would
right.
be
Yeah.
out of desperation, and maybe we will learn that the Ascended have the ability to summon the mist and the Craven because they create the Craven, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe there's some sort
Even
of
if it's like
control.
subconsciously kind of deal.
Yeah. So I have it here.
Okay.
So it's the Lord stumbled back against his chair, his lips peeling back as a different sound came from them, one that sounded like the wind when the mist came in. Spitting the sword, I swept it in a wide arc. The sword, Victor's sword, found its target.
Maybe that could be the case, and they
Wondering.
literally pull the mist in to keep the fear of the people. Oh,
I think they
you-
do.
Like to trigger the
yeah,
attacks?
the gods were unhappy with you because blah 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 blah. The mist came in. This is all your fault, and it's their way of manipulation.
It's like
I think they do.
That
I
would be
think they
kind
do.
Okay, so that's how this chapter ends. So we're
I
starting.
had one more.
Oh, sorry. Yep, go ahead.
Well, this is really nothing, but I wonder what happened, like how she fell into nothingness. So it ends with, I fell into nothingness, but right before that, a flash of light exploded behind my eyes and oblivion reached for me. So I asked, like, was she hit? Like, what happened there? How did they
Yeah.
knock her out?
That's how I read it, like a hit to the back of the head.
Do you think
kind of
Hawk
deal.
did it and was just like, she needs to stop now? Or
I can't see him hitting her, though.
Yeah, I can't see it either.
Like, I don't know if there's something else there, like, if he used...
I feel like he would,
Like
if
one of the
he
other guards.
knew that if she would have continued and she could have been in big trouble.
True.
I think it would have been like, they'll forgive her for what happened.
Yeah.
But if she continues,
Because he
it-
does
went
say, like,
further.
doesn't he say, like, forgive me? There's quotes keep coming up, forgive me, I failed you. Maybe that's
That was
Victor.
Victor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Victor on his deathbed apologizing for
But
not
yeah,
stepping in.
And then I
about
added the whole
lessons.
scene was heartbreaking.
Yeah, it really was. So chapter 27 opens, and I say a week later, so they're just chilling in the
Right?
same place. The attacks just stop, and Poppy and Victor... did Poppy and Victor kill them all? Like, what happened?
Exactly. Even in that
You mean
room,
Hawk?
like, how did
Sorry,
the Duchess get away? How, like, what did they do with what's his face's body? Does
Yeah.
everybody know? Did they hide it so that they, like?
I'm like...
See, I don't feel like I jumped in this chapter thinking, I'm like, okay, like, that obviously doesn't matter what happened in
It
between.
probably doesn't, but my brain is like,
I know, but
I need
it
to
just
know.
seemed like such a
Sudden.
sharp turn,
Yes.
you know? Like, okay, we are just... Let's...
It is like the what is like the peak of chaos. to
Yes.
just
Yeah.
a week later,
And
I woke up. Okay, it was all a dream. Like, what are we going?
Right? Like, yeah. But I think looking back, it's probably more because she was in such a, like, depressed state.
Yeah.
So for her, it was that sharp right turn.
Yes.
She's like, I don't know what happened this last
Yeah.
That's true.
So- and because we're reading from her perspective, I think
That's what we get.
I think that's why. But as a reader, I was like, okay, so like, cool, like that's it. Okay.
Right.
I didn't struggle with this. I'm just like, oh,
Kristen's so
okay.
analytical about everything, and I'm
She's
just
like,
Everything
oh,
just moved on.
bullshit.
It's fine.
Oh, and then I said Hawk is laying with Poppy while she slept, and he's apologizing for not being able to save Victor.
That's where I started questioning. I'm like, did Hawk have something to do with the attack? You're not to blame for this. If anything, and he trails off.
Oh.
Oh, that is interesting.
So I'm like, he must have had something to do with it because if anything, and he doesn't finish that sentence.
Okay, so I didn't catch that, but I must have been on the same train of thought because my next quote I wrote there are things I wish I could have done to have prevented this. And I said it could just be empty words, but it could also be hinting that maybe there is/was something he could have done
Yeah.
with his Atlantean powers, question?
Or
Yeah,
not
because the whole
Orchestrating the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the whole quote is, if you'd gone to your room, this still would have happened. Don't put this on yourself. A heartbeat later, I felt his fingers under my chin. He lifted my gaze to his. You're not to blame for this, Poppy. Not at all. If anything, he cut himself off with a low curse. Don't take the blame that belongs to others. You understand?
Oh, see, I didn't pick up on that. That's
Wow.
Sometimes I think it's how, like, I read it. Like, when I physically read it, like, there's a line. Like, I cut.
Yeah.
Like, a paragraph ends.
right.
Like,
You can actually see it spelled out on the page.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's just said, I'm just kind of like, oh, blah, blah, blah,
Right.
moving on.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's fair. See, this is what's so great about this podcast, friends. You're getting literally
Right.
from both sides.
Respect
Okay.
that.
Love it. Love it. Okay, so then I put Hawk is prioritizing their conversation over whatever the Duchess wanted to speak with them about. So at this point, the Duchess has summoned her to
Yes.
her room.
And she's
Right?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, shit's about to go down. And then she gets in there, and word has come from the capital. So this is when we're. Kristen is opening a snack pack, people.
Really discreetly, I really have to hand it to her. She's making a good effort to
Until Katie looks at me like, what are you doing?
I was trying not to laugh. She looked at me like, why is she trying not to laugh? And looked at Kristen and was like, oh, snacks.
So let me just give y'all a visual. This is what happened. So Kristen and I sit beside each other. Amanda's right across from us. And all of a sudden, Kristen's reaching down by my hip and I hear crinkle, crinkle. I'm like, and Amanda's staring at it. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
I was trying to keep it away from the mic.
I hope that you can hear the clinking because it will really make things.
I'm nauseous, friends. I need food.
Some Pokemon crackers.
I have fruit sanctions.
Oh, so good. I friggin' love it.
Anyway, back on track.
Where were we? So she's being summoned to the Duchess.
So she comes in and the Duchess opens up with...
I would love to hear, what did you think? Both of you.
When
she's
when
being
she was going
summoned,
in?
were you like, oh shit, she's going to get in trouble? Were you what did you think was going to happen?
It's hard for me to say because I didn't write it down, and looking back, obviously I know why, but I feel like I remember being worried for Poppy. Yeah. So I think probably more along the lines of getting in trouble.
I feel like if she would have I think my thought was if she would have gotten in trouble, she would have been summoned earlier.
That's true.
Because it'd been a week. So why is she getting her in trouble
but she also
a
was
week
technically
later?
Unconscious, was she? Or
no, I think she was
right. She was on and off.
Finally
they
took that.
Her,
yeah, she finally took that drug.
But if the Duchess wanted to talk to her, she would have said, "Don't drug."
Yes,
right.
She needs to come speak to me.
That's fair. Yes. That's fair. See, analytical thinker over here.
I was
right, too much.
Okay. So she says, "Where do you want to?" So, no, sorry, this happened before. I meant to say this. So. She gets summoned. I think, is it Tawny that comes and says that they're wanted at the...
For some reason, I thought it was a random guy.
No, it's a guy.
Hawk goes to the door, I think.
Because it says, I did come here with a purpose. He said the Duchess. Hawk says it.
Oh.
The Duchess needs to speak to you.
Yes, and that's why I wrote, he is valuing their conversation over whatever she wants, because he knows at this point she's been summoned, and he's delaying it because he wants to make sure she's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then he wants to take her away, right? Because I wrote a quote saying, "Where would you take me?" And he says, "Far away."
Somewhere far away from here. Yeah.
So he was like, "I wish I could take you away from here." Is that what?
If I thought I was delivering you for punishment, I wouldn't be taking you there.
That's right. Okay,
but
so
go Hawks.
So there we go. That answers our question. So at this point, we assume that she's not going to be hurt.
We hope, yes, correct.
Okay, so she comes in. The Duchess says, "Word has come from the capital," and I wrote, "Dun dun dun."
Right.
Then I wrote, no longer safe in Macedonia for Poppy. She's getting called back to the capital now. Eek. So the Duchess does say this then?
Yes. This was the reason that she was summoned.
Okay, so maybe it wasn't all a farce then, because remember
it very well could be. It could have been somebody
like the Duchess
Hawk was from the capital or wherever the hell he was from, and he wasn't. So it could be somebody that's from the capital. I'm putting quotations in the air, everybody. From the capital that's delivering a message from the Queen that really is.
Yeah, I don't think it would take much. I don't think that,
honestly.
So the Duchess thinks that it's happening?
Yes.
But it still might not be, is what you're saying.
I think your theory could be valid in that sense.
Okay.
I feel that, it never crossed my mind until now. I really did think that the Queen is like, where the hell is this lady?
Okay.
But now that you have planted that seed, I could see how this is happening.
Okay.
Because
so
Hawk came from a land that he didn't come from and lied, and they all believed it. So who's to say that
whatever he is saying.
And it would be interesting right now to kind of hear our notes that maybe there's some foreshadowing that will lead us to believe that it's
true. Yeah. This is so interesting because I have not looked at these notes since I wrote them.
Yeah.
So because I want this to be as I'm experiencing.
Raw experience, yeah.
And so now with the hindsight, right? You're like,
oh. And it's interesting hearing other theories. I would have never considered that until you said it earlier. Fun. And now I'm like, oh.
So I put Lord Asshole is one of the oldest descended. I feel like that's not a throwaway comment. Because there's
Do you know what's interesting about that?
What?
If it's okay if I say things about the future.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
If Hawk, Castile, or however you want to pronounce it, was originally their source, would Lord Asshole not have been there to drink from him?
As the original?
Yes. If he was
from him?
one of the oldest ascended.
But did they take directly from him, or did they just
I thought so.
I just can't remember.
Wasn't it the brother? Isn't that where the brother is?
That's where the brother is now.
Oh, but it was originally cast. You're right.
And he's one of the oldest living ones. How interesting. Obviously he didn't know, I would think, or something would have happened.
Right.
But I wonder if there's something there with saying that he's the oldest, and maybe that's also part of why Hawk, and like maybe the Duke, for example, maybe there was a reason he killed the Duke was because like, yeah, the Duke drank from like
Like, you
there
think
could
the
have been
Duke figured it out? That Hawk was
either
soft?
could have figured it out or just out of vengeance. If you remember being in a room and this person drank your blood and this person drank your blood, and like you may have a vengeance towards that in your mission of trying to like right the wrong.
Right.
I don't know.
I feel like he might have killed the Duke to set off this train of events, though. Like, but
it's
I wouldn't be
interesting
surprised
that
if there's a part of a vengeance in there.
Yeah. Like
Just him saying
premeditated.
he's one of the oldest is kind of interesting. That's all. Like that maybe that has something to do with.
Because right after that, so actually on that, she agreed, he was ascended, one of our oldest, talking about Mazine. Tension radiated from Hawk as I felt him move just the slightest bit towards me.
Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I know he's one of the oldest because he's sucked from my blood.
Yeah.
I was his blood bank.
Right?
Okay, so now the
I also wrote, I'm not surprised the Duchess knew everything.
Yeah, about like
I
lessons
was
and stuff.
surprisingly surprised. Like, I wasn't necessarily surprised that she knew. I thought that it was either she knew and turned a blind eye or didn't know, but it sounds like she knew and was also receiving similar.
Yeah.
That I was surprised
Yeah,
by,
that she was also being
like abused or what have you.
Which I think is ultimately why she's not super sad about him dying.
Because she pretty well says that. She says,
Yeah.
if you think you're the only one that he would ever, like, and let's just stop this conversation now and don't ask questions you don't want to.
See, I don't think that surprised me. So I'm like, if he does it to one person, he's going to do it to anyone.
Right. Yeah, I don't know why. I just thought, they're ascended, so, but... Yeah, it did surprise me. But...
I wrote on here, so she's talking to Poppy about how, like, because Poppy's essentially saying, like, aren't I going to be punished? Like, I literally killed
one of the...
Yeah. And she responds with, I'm sure you had your reasons. And I put, LOL, such a calm statement about the murder from the Duchess.
But it's because the Duchess had similar reasons.
Yeah.
Like, it's, right? But still, it's so chill.
Yeah, I know. I just
I'm
sure you had your reasons.
And for anyone, wasn't there like other guards in the room? Other than Hawk? Like, they're probably like, what the
fuck?
What do you mean?
And so I wrote this quote down word for word. She says, take this as a much needed lesson, Penelope. Some truths do nothing but destroy and decay what they do not obliterate. Truths do not always set one free. Only a fool who has spent their entire life being fed lies believes that. And I said, what the fuck does this mean?
Do you know what's interesting? She spent her whole life being fed lies.
Yep.
That's kind of hilarious.
Yep.
So I took that as like her acknowledging, yes, I knew what was going on with you. Yes, I was also being abused, but like, you're going to ask questions. It's going to hurt you to hear me say, yes, I knew this was going on and I didn't step in. In that moment, that's how I felt. But now knowing more truth, it's kind of has a bigger meaning too.
Yeah,
right?
Agreed.
And then her next quote, you are the maiden. That is why you will not be punished. Do yourself a favor and do not waste another moment of your time thinking of them. I know I will not. And I said the friggin' Duchess was being abused by the Duke this whole time. That's so fucked. She's probably happy they're both dead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's how the chapter ends.
So this just kind of popped in my head. It's not super related, but I don't know why I'm thinking about it right now. But like if Hawk, we'll call him still, is Atlantean, and he was being used way back when to turn these people into the Ascended and for them to take over, what have you. And the maiden is so important. It's kind of a made up concept now, this maiden thing. Right. But she is also Atlantean or part Atlantean.
Part Atlantean. Quarter, so, I think it ends up saying.
So they...
Which also I call.
but the thing is, they're keeping her for a reason. Obviously, they know she's Atlantean, and that's the reason they want her, potentially to use her for her blood or what have you. But it's like, why the maiden? Why her? Why someone that's like part Atlantean and not full Atlantean? Why, like when the queen saved her and let her mom not
ascend,
was it because they're like, oh, she's Atlantean, she can't ascend? Maybe her mom didn't even know she was Atlantean. So the queen was like, okay, I'm gonna let this be because she's Atlantean, she can't ascend, but she has this child that now we know is Atlantean. We could take her child. So maybe her mother's like death was orchestrated.
I thought that in the beginning, and I still think
and then they're like, okay, we're gonna save her because how did she get saved? The queen saved her or something.
Yeah,
right?
Queen saved her.
So it's like,
Queen
no, maybe the
her.
queen after this attack was like, don't touch her. I'm going to come in. We're going to raise her.
Right.
We're going to whatever. And when she's ready, here's our new source. And maybe she's part royalty. Like maybe there's something.
I feel like there's something there.
Because why would it matter what Atlantean? Like and the fact that she's not full Atlantean is strange.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I just can't understand. And who was the previous maiden? Do you think that was a whole lie and there was no previous maiden? It was all lies to get her to conform?
No, I think we're going to find out more. And I think she's still alive. I don't think she's dead. I think we're going to find out more. It's going to be part of like a revolution or something, I think.
Yeah.
I hope so.
I hope so too.
I just feel like, wouldn't Hawk have said something? Maybe he wouldn't. Like, do you think he would know that the previous maiden still
would we have
exists?
hoped he would have said all of this already? And he
That's
hasn't?
true.
So maybe it'll be revealed
It just
later.
seems so relevant now, but yeah, I'm so curious. Anyway.
Does it ever mention how long ago the previous maiden lived? Like, is that ever mentioned?
We're ever given a timeline?
Interesting.
But if, like, obviously it was in the lifespan of the Duke and Duchess, and if they are commenting that Lord Asshole was one of their oldest, that would make me assume that the Duke and Duchess are also one of their oldest.
Right, to know that he was.
And they lived in her timeline, so it could have been like 100 years ago. Who knows, right? There really is no concept.
Or do we think she's distantly related to the original maiden? And that's why her?
Possibly.
Maybe.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
So chapter 28 opens with them leaving, like, saying the plan for her to go to the capital, and she wants to bring Tawny, and Tawny can't come with her.
Where Tawny's,
Yeah. And so this is like Hawk is kind of like putting his foot down. And I wrote down a quote saying, "Gone is the hawk who held me closely. Here stood a guard who Victor would be proud of." And then I went, oh. And then I said, Tawny is not willing to come. And then I said, oh no, poor Poppy. And it makes sense why she is traveling without the veil, but the rules seem to be more bendable than was initially laid out, because like they don't want it to be like a beacon that she's the maiden when they're traveling. But I'm like, they made it sound like no one can see her face ever except the guard, and now they're like, here's a room full of people, take it off.
Right. I know, it's like all of that has gone out the window.
Right. Like I understand why, and it makes sense why, but like when we initially are hearing the rules or whatever, it's like literally no one.
And it's weird that we don't really know the reason why no one can see. And do you think that it's because the dissenters would actually want her back or something? Like, is it to keep that from them? Like, because they make it seem like, oh, they're going to kill you, but in reality, they might not want them to know who she is, because they'll take her from them.
Because they'll recognize her.
If she has like recognizable features that they want her back,
Because really, like, Hawk and them wouldn't really give a shit if she's veiled or not,
right?
Because like, you know what I mean? Like it's just, what was there's got to be a purpose, and obviously we're going to learn that.
Yeah,
but it's just, I just want to know so bad.
Interesting. And then I wrote, Kieran has made a reappearance. He has the same accent as Hawk, but his eyes are blue and not gold. However, they do mention his eye color. Because you know me with
and is he one of the ones that's...
He's one of the women.
Okay.
So
I wrote before this, I really like the cute moment with Clark and Poppy too. Like their little like flirting.
I know. I love
really cute. And that I still believed Hawk had something to do with the attack.
Yeah. I know. In the back of my head, I'm like, he's ultimately responsible for Victor's death, but I'm like, I still love him.
Right. Because like,
he didn't mean to.
This is going to happen and Victor's going to die.
Yeah.
He was probably thinking the opposite, that he's going to be like outside Poppy's room, because he took Poppy and they left
to get her away from it.
So he was probably thinking they're going to be at the room.
Yeah,
I'm going to make sure none of this happens near that room.
And that's probably why that girl warned them. Like she was probably part of the dissenters and knew.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, like get out of here. Why are you here? Go.
Yeah,
I know. And I feel like the whole thing was like, I think we mentioned it, but like I think the whole thing was orchestrated to set off the chain reactions of her. This is not safe for you to be here. So like he never intended, I'm going to kill Victor today. He wanted it to be a scare to get Poppy out.
Yeah. And interesting you say that, where he orchestrated that to get this chain of events, because that could also lead into the queen didn't summon her, but the Duchess sure as hell's going to believe she did if this happens.
Yes.
So that's...
Because it's like a reason for it, right?
Yeah. They would believe, oh yeah, the queen probably is summoning her. If the queen just randomly summoned and that didn't happen, it would be like, I don't know if I believe that.
Do you have anything else to add on that before I move on?
No.
Okay. So now they're leaving on their trip, and they're riding by horse, correct? If I remember this. And I put, so if the trip is going to take days and they have to travel essentially at a run the entire time, are they going to be able to stop to rest at some point? I feel like sleeping in the Blood Forest sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah. Did they mention at this point that they were going to trade horses?
I don't think so, because I remember
maybe I
thinking
just
these four
assumed-
horses.
So I've read a lot of like fantasy like in olden times, so I probably just assumed that
they were
they're
gonna
gonna stop, they're gonna change their horses,
which they
like,
do end up doing,
which they
right?
do, yeah.
Yeah. I was like literally like
Running for
they're
a whole day.
not a vehicle, like they
Yeah,
didn't need to
yeah.
stop.
I know. I was thinking the same thing. These fake horses are being abused. My imaginary brain thought up horses. They don't really exist.
So now they start talking about the Borats. Borats. I tried to write it how to spell
Was
it.
this
Do you remember how they
is
said
this
it?
how
I don't
25
remember.
or 28?
20. Oh, it
Did
might
you
be
jump?
29 because apparently I skipped 29.
I'm like, so I'm
Sorry.
in 28. I'm like, it ends where they're like ready and they're leaving.
So fun.
I'm like, oh no, there's chapter 30. I'm like, oh. Whoops. Okay, so sorry. How does chapter 28 end? Because I tried to make note of that for all of those chapters.
So 28 ends with Hogg being like ready, and they somewhere. I'm trying to like really read it fast, and I can't do both things. Tawny roamed, and the Duchess assumed somewhere in there, like she's talking about how the castle's behind her, and they're leaving.
Okay, so they're
That's
setting
how it
off
ends.
into the
Just,
sunset.
Yeah, okay.
And then Kieran makes his appearance to start 29.
No. He makes his appearance at the end.
So how does 29
28?
start? I'm just trying to differentiate my notes here. Sorry.
29 starts with within a few hours of our trek across the barren plains. I had no longer had to rely on my imagination on how to know what Hawk had meant when he said I'd be riding with him. So they're like,
So this is explaining how she's like literally
she's
sitting,
literally
Yeah.
like
sharing the same saddle and
Yeah.
everything,
Yeah.
and can feel everything.
Everything.
So sleeping in the blood forest sounds like a bad idea. Now they're starting to talk about the Barats, and I said it's the only thing that the Craven won't eat. I don't know how I feel about this, but I feel like it's going to come into play eventually. And I said, Jesus, these rats weigh 200 pounds.
Right?
Like rhinos.
Yeah,
Literally.
I think I skipped ahead. This must just be a lot of like the travel.
I think it
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
because
I think before. Where are you going now?
no, I was gonna say with what Hawk brings along for the road trip.
That's
Is
what
that
I
where you're
was
going?
going
Okay,
to.
you take it away, friend.
I just literally wrote the book. LOL.
Oh, that's cool.
I wrote Hawk brought the book, crying laugh emoji. Maybe I'll read it to you.
Right? And it's like, oh, let's see what it is.
You're going,
That's the only note I wrote for 29 is the book.
I mean, that's the most important part. Let's be real. So then, hold on. I just had a crazy crockpot theory. Does anyone else find it weird that they keep mentioning the author of this book like she was some grand, like, seductive person? Is there a chance she was the original maiden?
Oh, that would be really hilarious.
That would be very interesting.
Because, like,
never crossed my mind, but
she reads a lot of books and they never ever mention anything about the other authors.
Yeah.
It's the only one they mention. And wouldn't it be funny that a maiden who's supposed to be a virgin becomes like a scarlet letter, essentially?
And she was doing this all in secret.
Yeah.
And, like, basically, what's that word called? Not dictating, but like
Because
writing.
didn't they say the other maiden was found unworthy?
Yeah.
And then she was killed. She got herself killed. or something.
Yeah, they said she got herself
I'm getting
killed.
goosebumps. I think
I
this
hope that
opening.
happens. That's so.
Isn't that kind of fun?
Yeah.
Just
I
a
like
fun
that.
little
That is a cool
tidbit.
thing.
I
you know?
like that theory.
If it's not right, I'm going to be sad. But anyway.
Me too, actually.
So then I said they've now arrived at the blood forest and the bones are all over the ground. And I said, why are they choosing the blood forest to sleep in? Is it for the cover? I feel like camping outside of it would have been a much safer choice.
Right.
I feel like at this point I had a theory that he was Atlantean, and I'm like, maybe like the Craven won't eat the Barats or whatever they are, and I feel like I had some theory that maybe there was something he could do because he was Atlantean.
Oh.
That
So it's
the
actually
forest
safe
wasn't
for them.
as
It's not dangerous for him.
because like if they go out of the forest, they're gonna run into every other like a bunch of other people trying to come after them, possibly.
True.
But if they go into the forest and there's something he can do to like protect them, quote unquote, that it was actually safer for them.
and not
despite
to
these-
mention like his high hearing and high sense
Yeah.
of sight, like he'd see or hear something coming.
yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Was there ever a point? I wish I wrote notes. I'm gonna have to freaking get better at this. But I just can't remember when. But there was a point in this book that I was like, he is the prince. Like
Me too.
I can't remember the
What
point
made
that
you
I
think that?
thought
I think-
that. So I wish I had written my notes to be like, okay, this is where it like clicked for me.
Yeah.
Because I think I said in the first half of
did.
the book that
You
he
did.
possibly was.
Yeah.
And then something else happened. I'm like, oh, I really think he is.
Yeah.
And then obviously we learned that, but I can't recall when. And I'm going to have to get better with my notes because that would help
Yeah.
me. Like,
You were definitely right on that one, though. I remember thinking that. I was like, oh, snap.
But I feel like it was around this point that I thought that, but I don't know why.
Okay, so that's how the chapter ends, right? Them deciding to set up camp in. Because now I don't trust my notes layouts.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're making camp.
Okay. So chapter 30 opens. You're not
She's cold.
Yeah, you're not used to this kind of cold, are you, Poppy? And she says, and you are? And he said, you have no idea what I'm used to. And I went,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
You've been out in the blood forest often then, eh?
Yeah. You've dabbled here a time or two.
Yeah.
So this is funny. So some of my notes I can tell when it's Siri typing it for me and when it's me typing it out. Because like if I'm like working or if I'm like driving, I'll just voice to text my notes.
Yeah.
It auto-corrected hawk to cock.
I love this.
At first I was like,
This is clearly what you mean. There's so many other words.
That's amazing.
yeah, a cock is lying down beside Poppy.
I mean, it's not
Not a lie.
It's not wrong.
Hawk is lying down beside Poppy to keep her warm and safe. For some reason, I don't believe him when he said Victor told him about the nightmares. I feel like Hawk has superpowers or something, and that's how he's figuring all this stuff out. So I think in my head at this point, I'm thinking like mind reading. But like if he's standing outside of her room, he probably hears it.
Yeah, you would think so.
But in my head, I'm like, he's a mind reader.
See, I think I was just like, like
Maybe.
it actually makes sense that Victor might have said something to Hawk. I thought it was just
I
a
feel
sweet, like, fatherly
I
moment
think
for
he would have said
Victor.
something too.
You're probably right, but in
And
my-
just not told Poppy so she wasn't, like, self-conscious
like
about
embarrassed
it.
about it or whatever. Yeah. So he's basically saying like, I'm just laying with you so that if you awake from a nightmare, I can stop you before anything comes.
So like things don't attack us in the night.
But knowing that he knows things are coming and we think that he's safe, do you think that's actually the reason, or do you think he just wanted to lay beside her?
No, I think that it was both because
Yeah.
the thing does come and attack, and it wasn't like it was like an easy. Actually, okay, I'm lying here. I'm thinking right now the rat comes right, and it kills what's his face. She helps him feel better when he dies.
Wasn't
type
that
thing.
Craven?
I didn't think so.
It's a Craven attack, I think.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Why did I think it was one
And
of
I
these
think
rats?
I think that's the next.
I think it's one of these things. Because I remember her like being like, "Oh, I didn't realize how big they were going to be."
Yeah, I
Maybe
think
I'm
they
wrong.
do.
I think it's a Barat.
Oh, maybe. Okay.
But either that because it seemed like they struggled a bit with the fight. It wasn't just like a clean, oh, I got it, kill at the
Yeah.
end. But is it because they actually struggled with it, or was it because they're like, we need to kill off everybody here, so we know there's going to be a Barat.
Mm.
Let's like let it come in and fight it,
Yeah.
and we look innocent while it kills.
Yeah.
So now I don't know.
The guards.
I don't know.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So I wrote here, I was going to skip over this note, but I'll just say it. I said, Hawk is talking about her maidenhood and essentially the purity of it. He mentioned that she is saving herself for some royal king.
Yeah.
I was under the impression that she would never be able to love, but maybe she can after she married royalty. Am I understanding that correctly?
Well, technically, he's royalty.
He
If we're gonna go there,
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. Or he was just like, because he's always said, like, I know who she is, and I don't think.
I thought it was more just an internal monologue.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you have to
Yeah.
save yourself for royalty.
So, Hawk, I think it's Hawk, says, I heard that your mother refused to ascend. And she goes, it's true. My father was a firstborn son. He was wealthy, but he wasn't chosen. My mother was a lady. Mom was a lady in wait, but when they met, it was accidental. His father, my grandfather, was close to the king, King Jalara. My father went to the castle with him once, and that's where he saw my mother. Supposedly it was love at first sight.
No.
I know it sounds silly, but I believe it happens for at least some. And he says, it's not silly, it does exist. And I wonder if that's, like, if he knows, just thinking on it now,
That's
isn't
what
that like
happened
that
to
the
him?
Wolven bond?
Or that too.
Yeah.
I was thinking the Wolven bond. Is it only men that are Wolven? Do you know?
No, I
Does
think
it-
both.
Yeah.
I would think it's,
I don't know if it's ever said, is it?
I don't know. I don't think it's ever said.
I
but
only
I-
because she be
but
part
how would
Wolven.
they-
Could her mom be Atlantean and her dad be Wolven? Because
Wolven?
they're
But how would, like,
love at first
Wolven-
sight, and she's
Like
a
the
quarter.
Yeah.
I never thought
and
of
she's
that.
Yeah.
Well, she would be a half Atlantean though in that situation. No,
I don't think Wolven and Atlantean are the same thing.
but no, they're not. That's what I'm saying. If the maiden is a quarter Atlantean, but her mom was full Atlantean. Maybe
No, her mom
wasn't.
is half. Her mom
Maybe
is
her mom's half
which is why
Atlantean.
she's quarter.
And
Yeah.
then her dad is potentially Wolven, and that's the love at first sight, and why he's saying that happened.
So if her dad was Wolven, she would be half Wolven, quarter human, quarter Atlantean.
Yeah.
Correct?
I think so.
Yes.
As long as
Because if the dad was full Wolven,
yes,
she would be half.
yes,
And her mom was half
correct.
Atlantean.
Yeah,
she would be
she's
quarter
quarter.
Atlantean. And then
Quarter
the quarter
human,
human would
half
be
Wolven.
from her. Yeah.
Genetics.
Interesting.
Biology 101, friends. Who thought you'd get that in a book book club podcast? Words are hard.
But yeah, they start talking about that.
So this is a funny note that I wrote. This is literally as I'm experiencing. So I say, Hawk is now rubbing her stomach. Do we think this is some version of his gift? And I'm thinking like calm her down, whatever. And then I said, nope, entirely different type of gift. Damn.
I wrote, attention. Curious to see how Amanda felt about this first spice.
You know what's funny? I was like, my thoughts were curious, like, to know with books that you've read. I'm like, this seems like,
This is very mild.
I was gonna say, this seems like low key spice.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't seem like it could have been way more.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, my next note.
Descriptive, maybe, or whatever. So I'm like, I feel like this is probably like the low version of what spice could be. But I was like, I wanted to ask you.
I
guys.
cannot wait for her to read ACOTAR and get to the last book. No spoilers, because if anyone hasn't read it yet. But yeah, that's
It's high key spice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just like, you haven't read
Very
it.
descriptive and very frequent.
I found like their descriptions of like, oh, blah blah blah, his length, and I'm like,
Oh,
Yeah.
very like innocent
Yep,
way to
it is.
like,
It is.
describe it.
The
And
first
I'm
time
like-
I read like something more, I was like, are they allowed to put this in writing? It seems like porn.
Yeah, like I was like, it seemed very, very mild language.
Yeah.
Like you could know what was happening, but it was
Yeah.
I was like, this seems
Yeah.
really low.
Oh no, very descriptive in some other books.
Yeah.
And I've heard that this series is very spicy, so I wonder
think
if
it's
we're gonna
gonna get
get
into
to
it.
that.
I feel like
They're
this is
just,
like the
trying
soft.
to set you.
It's like a
even-
slow burn.
This is
even
like the romantic
ACOTAR.
stuff, and then it's gonna get into like the
Yeah, like even ACOTAR, the
That's
entire
fair.
series, like she starts out slow.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then it gets high key.
And I will say, because right now currently I'm reading Throne of Glass in the middle of like in between these books. And obviously no spoilers. I'm not going to spoil anything, so please don't skip ahead. But like, it's way less spice than, and I knew it was less romance based than ACOTAR. Like I read that online, but coming from Sarah J. Maas doing ACOTAR to now doing Throne of Glass, I'm like, is this the same author?
You get more.
Oh, that's
you get
funny.
more as you go.
Okay, good.
Because
You're
Throne
like,
of Glass,
wait,
Throne of
what?
Glass was the first book she wrote.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, I think Throne of Glass
Okay.
was the first
That
series
makes
she
sense.
starts with. So you can see her getting comfortable in her writing.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
And then when you go to Crescent City,
because
you
it's
read
like
that.
very
Yeah,
different.
Crescent City starts off like with a bang.
With a literal bang.
Yeah. Maybe not in one of the very first chapters.
so funny.
Yeah.
Straight to the penis.
Yeah.
But do they say penis or do they say
Both actually.
Yeah.
Mm.
okay? Interesting.
Anywho, back to Blood and Ash. Sarah J. Maas, though, reader, if you haven't already. Okay, so then I said, "Ooh, we finally get some spice. It's PG-13 spice, but I'll take it."
Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm like, this seems low key. Like,
I was just like, I know you haven't read Spice before. Like, this is like a nice little intro for
this
you.
is good
Yeah.
segue into what the world of reading spice could be.
Yeah.
A whole new world.
Ease my way in. That's what she said.
And that's how the chapter ends, right? My notes are still correct up to that point.
Yeah,
Spice,
she
the
starts
PG.
falling
Like she falls
asleep.
asleep
Yeah.
and
Blissfully
Right.
after her orgy,
right.
her very first
Orgy.
one.
That's not it. It's not the right word.
Orgy.
Well,
That's
whatever.
multiple
Orgasm.
people. There you go. Could you imagine?
Listen!
Like, guards jump in.
Listen,
Like, I did not read this version.
were we not all involved in this? I would say that counts as multiple people.
Oh, okay, I guess so.
No.
You know what? No,
You're not there.
It's almost like being a creep, just like listening in on it, right?
It's so
So-
true.
I don't like the way this conversation has made me feel.
Okay,
now.
okay. I am curious. I want to know, when you guys read this kind of stuff, when you read it, are you envisioning yourself as the main character, or do you envision yourself as like watching them?
Oh, what a good question. I don't know.
Because I feel like I envision myself as main character, and I feel like it'd be really weird to be like, over to
Yes.
you as you do it. You know, like
I'm curious.
I
So
actually know.
what your point of view is. I'm
in
curious.
my head, I'm like, it's like I'm watching a movie. So my
I feel
head is
like I'm,
creating
like,
a
watching
movie.
So you're kind of like distanced from it.
So I feel a little distance from it. I still like don't read it in public spaces sometimes, but like I very much work to keep a straight face when
I
I'm
listen
reading.
to my Spice at work on audiobook.
Okay,
Funny.
So, like, I really hope my headphones never kick out.
I hope that happens to you one day just so I can hear about it.
So this happened once, like when I was at my job and I was reading my book. They're like, "What are you reading?" And I'm like,
Lord.
And they're like, "Kristen." It's like I'm like, I was right in the middle of a spicy scene, and I'm
And
like,
what do you say, right?
And
You
like-
feel guilty, so you're like, and you're like, what
my
are you
brain just
reading?
like short function, and so they're just like, "Kristen."
I saw a TikTok
I'm
once.
like, it's a good book. I swear I'm not reading it for the spice.
I am.
Yeah, I think I'm watching it happen.
Yeah,
It
you're
makes
like
me
the
sound
hover.
a creep. Yeah, but I think so. I think so.
I think it also does depend on how the book is written.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because, like,
it is in her perspective.
It
So
is.
it almost makes it seem like it's your mind
Yes.
thoughts too.
whereas
Yeah.
jumping back to Throne of Glass, again, no spoilers, but it's written in third person.
Is
And
it like how Harry did
Yes.
this, Harry did that?
Yes.
Well, here it's like,
I did this,
yeah,
I
it's
did
like
that.
that.
her thoughts. I'm
And-
gonna have to pay attention more because
Yeah.
I really, I'm
Yeah,
not
that's
sure.
a good question because I'm like,
I think I watch it. I think, but I don't know.
like I think I'm a mix. I might be a mix of both. Like I
Me
kind of like
too. I'm trying to
imagine
think.
it,
Like
but
certain chapters or
but like it's not like it's like me, but it's not me.
Yes.
Like it's hard to explain.
interesting.
Because I'm even trying to think of other scenes, like when she's riding the horse. I'm like, did I picture myself riding a horse?
Yeah.
See, I did.
I don't know. I don't.
And like she describes how it feels when he's like, I'm like, oh yeah, like I can envision that,
Yeah,
like
I can
him
feel that
sitting.
against my back.
Yeah, Daddy.
I don't know. I think I made you. I don't know. I have to really think about it.
That's your homework for the day, kids.
Yeah.
Tell me what
That's
you feel when
so
you read.
interesting.
Tell us how you envision it, readers at home.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a good thing to put in our
That
comments.
is.
Amanda, you should read our handles. This is a good spot to put it in there.
Yeah, guys. So you can follow us on any social media platform. You can find us at Your Bookmark Pod. And you can also email us, yourbookmarkpod@gmail.com. So please, it would be so cool to hear
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
everybody, like, do you picture yourself as the main character experiencing what the book is experiencing, or
Are you like watching
Are
a movie?
you-
Yeah.
a spectator
Because
in the space?
there's also people who I
Just
know
sitting in
read
the
where it's
corner.
like they don't picture it at all. Like
What
there's
do you-
so
I
many.
can't even fathom that. What
I
would
know
you-
they
What?
they just think of the words or they don't think of anything. Yeah.
But how
There's
do you,
so many.
So you don't like see things? that are-
Yeah.
That's weird.
I just can't comprehend.
There's so many more
how you
options,
ingest-
like,
like
it's-
what?
Like, how do you enjoy your books?
Because they're still hearing a story. You're just not seeing the story.
Yeah, but that's the best part. You envision
For
it's like a
you,
movie.
don't shame other
It's
readers.
actually
No, I literally didn't
interesting.
know there was no other
It's
way.
Yeah.
interesting to think, like, because if I like think of a memory I have, like, oh, when I was a kid, what I see in my head is similar to what I see when I'm reading a book, kind of. Which is interesting. Like when I think of my memories, I think I am like third person.
Yeah.
I think so. That's
It's-
weird, right?
That is weird.
No, it's funny you say that because I have like
I
a
think
very
I do that.
Yeah, I do too. I have a very specific memory of like grade 2 and I was missing my dad. And like I remember this place that I had and I remember sitting on like a curb with my teacher. But when I look back to that memory,
You see yourself
I
sitting
see
on the
myself
curb. Yes!
sitting beside the
That's
teacher.
Weird, you guys. Are you serious?
Oh, yeah. That's weird. Now that I'm saying it out loud.
Because
I don't see my memories
yeah.
through my eyes anymore.
Yeah.
I see them.
That's fucking weird.
Don't shame us.
no, I
Not in a bad
no,
way.
I-
I'm
yeah,
just
I
my
feel
mind
that you
is
are. Yeah, I
blown.
think that's what I do.
Okay, and now readers, you really need to let me know. Am I the weird one here? Like, I feel like
I feel like it's normal. What you say seems like that makes sense. Like, you
I
should
mean,
think
I
of
would
it
have
that
thought
way.
so, but
Yeah.
now I'm questioning
Yeah.
everything.
No, I know
also-
there's a bunch of different types of ways people.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
fascinating to
thinking-
me.
This is like we're getting off topic here, but like I read that some people think in like words, like they have an inner monologue,
and they don't
and
hear
some
it.
people don't. Yeah, I don't have an inner monologue. I don't think.
What do you mean?
Like, if I were to be thinking about like going to the beach,
Yes.
I wouldn't have words in my head going, okay, like I need to pack this. I need to, like, I don't have like,
So what do you
It's-
do?
I just visually see in my head me packing my stuff, or I see like me going.
But you
to
don't
the
have like
beach.
conversations with yourself in your
Not
head about
really.
it?
Like I think maybe like, but not often. Like not often
Weird.
at all.
Oh, I talk to myself in my
And
head.
that is very common. Most people do have that inner. Like I probably do. Like I'm not gonna say I never hear that in my head.
Right.
Most of the time when I'm like thinking like, oh, we're gonna go camping.
Yeah.
None of that is in words in my head. I picture us like pulling up and like
you're envisioning what it looks
Yes.
like instead of
yes.
talking to yourself
Yes.
about what's going to happen.
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
But isn't that interesting that people like their thought process is totally.
And I've also heard that some people so like for me, for example, I'm thinking about Hawk's voice as the audiobook narrator reads it. I can hear it. Like I can hear it. Some people cannot.
Me too. I hear it too.
Which I find so crazy. But like I hear it. I can hear his accent. Like when I'm reading Harry Potter, I'm hearing the actors as they say it when I'm reading it. But yeah, interesting.
Very cool. So anyways, follow us, like us, let us know. How does your brain work?
We want to know all the inner workings of your brain.
That sounds creepy.
Oh boy.
Okay, so chapter 31 opens, and I don't know if I skipped something because I feel like this is jumping ahead, but I know exactly what's happening. So I think it's Kieran is basic. So Poppy is like still asleep, quote unquote, but she's like actually awake,
like he's dropping,
and she's listening to them talk, and then she gets kind of embarrassed. She's like, "Oh God, did he hear everything that happened?"
Right.
But Kieran says, "Remember what your task is." And then I said, for some reason, I don't think they're talking about being her guard. I think it has something to do with him being Atlantean, and maybe that he was sent initially to try and kidnap Poppy, but is now falling in love with her.
Which is exactly
check
what is happening. Like exactly to you.
And I said, not sure, but definitely something more than just being her guard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just say, guys, like
that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Like not gonna lie, that's low-key the exact plot of what's happening.
Yeah.
Cow.
I wasn't that specific. I just said Kieran is involved with whatever Hawk is. Like they're you know.
They in it.
Yeah.
Finger would.
So now I think it jumps to morning, and this is when the attack happens, and I did not.
It all is in the morning.
I did not write if it was a Craven or a rat.
I'm sure.
I wrote, I'm surprised there weren't more Craven.
Yeah,
can
you find it in the book?
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Because I thought at some point, if it is a Craven attack, then they definitely see one of these rat things.
Yeah.
It doesn't attack them. Because I remember her explaining or saying like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize how big they were or something.
I remember that.
But I think the thing that kills Noah is Craven, because I remember.
Because she was. They were talking about him turning, possibly?
Like,
No,
I remember she mentioned something like, oh, thank God no one was bit or something like that. Like,
yeah.
I remember it.
So maybe they just saw a rat at some point in the distance?
So Kieran, the horse rears, Kieran almost falls from his seat. It came out of nowhere, a burst of black and red leaping into the air and slamming into Noah's side. And it was a Barrett.
Oh.
I managed to stifle the scream.
But maybe they just kill it, move on, and then there's a Craven.
Yeah, I wonder, I think maybe it's the noise. So
I think you're right.
That brings them back.
Comes in.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So
if there's one,
right.
there's a horde we need to get, and then they cut off. They didn't attack. They ran
Craven
past us, darting between the agitated horses.
So
right, because the rats are running away from the Craven.
Yeah.
I swear they see
You're
a rat
right.
at the very
You're
least.
right.
The Craven is the thing that kills.
Shit, growled Hawk as Luddy turned his horse around, catching the Craven who downed Noah in the head with a bloodstone spear.
And then I wrote, oh no, poor Noah. And then I said, I picked a great chapter to listen to while eating my lunch.
Like blood splat everywhere. This matchup is great.
Yeah. And then Hog says, see?
Poor man, I just took a drink too.
Oh no! I've been so good at like correcting my notes. At least it was a cock that time. It was Hog.
Oh, I almost spit that out.
Oh, I was sorry.
My eyes are watering.
Oh my God, that's funny. It's happened a few times and I've corrected as I read, but that time I did not. Sorry. Hawk saying he never thought of Craven and sexy in the same sentence until he saw her fighting them.
Yeah.
It was cute.
That was cute.
And then I wrote, oh, poor Eric. So I think this is when Eric.
I wrote I'm sadder than I thought it would be about him.
Did we just meet him?
Yes. Yes.
I feel like I was
But
almost
it was
more.
very intimate, like and it was her like exposing her gift to Hawk for the first time and all of that. And wasn't she silly in thinking? I think that she was like, maybe he didn't notice. Didn't she think that? Or no? Because I'm like, what do you mean? Maybe he didn't notice. Of course he did.
I don't know. I didn't write anything down. I'm not sure.
He stared at me, and I knew Phillips and Hawk were watching. I knew without looking at them that his sudden relief had nothing to do with the stages of death.
So she was aware that they do.
Yeah. I know you, Eric said, his chest rising heavily and slowly settling. Didn't think I should say anything, but we've met and we played cards. So, like...
Oh, right, because
very
Eric is the
beginning.
one that she played cards with when she was at
Yeah.
the Red Pearl, right?
Yes.
And then I put Eric saying Mama right before he died. I was like, my heart.
Right.
So this is where probably you're coming from. Slowly I lowered his hand and placed it on his chest. I looked up to find both Phillips and Hawk staring at me. You did something to him, Hawk stated, his gaze searching mine. I said nothing. I didn't need to. Phillips said it for me. It's true, the rumors. I heard it, but I didn't believe it. Gods, you have the touch. And that's
Yep.
how the chapter ends.
Yep.
And that's interesting. Okay, so she is the maiden because she has these powers.
Yep.
The previous maiden, because I'm like, what sets her different from other people? I forgot about her gift.
Yep.
So that's interesting. And how does that gift come to be? Is it a Craven thing? Is it a Wolven thing? Is it a mix of blood?
And
Is
the
it,
fact
like,
that it's evolving on the fly, right?
Yes.
And I wrote a note here. So we finally have a name for her gift. It's called the Touch. I have a feeling we're going to find out more about this.
I don't think
other
it's
than just
called
what Poppy is
the
known
touch.
for.
Like, I don't think it's called that.
I think that's like there's
Because-
I never picked that up either. that it was
because
called the touch.
Even though he just said
But
you
he
have
did
the
say
touch.
you
But
have
if you
the touch.
read it, it's not capitalized.
Oh, okay. So
It's just like you have the touch, like you touch them and that's what happens.
Okay, so maybe I was just.
I don't
Maybe
think it's...
though. Like, but yeah,
I think it would have been capitalized.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
So maybe this
TBD.
is why the Ascended want her blood even more. Maybe they think it will give them a gift.
I wondered
What is-
if I think because I remember the Duchess, like when she was asking about it like evolving or whatever, and she's like, "Don't tell the Duke like you're following in the same steps
Yeah.
as the last maiden." I almost wonder if it's like they have to change her before the gift sets in.
Oh.
Because I have a feeling maybe the gift is something that can stop them.
Maybe.
So like
Maybe.
she's like low-key alarmed that it's developing because they're like, oh shit, we got to move up her
Because
ascension.
like if that's the case, why aren't they just doing it now? Like,
Yeah.
what? Like there obviously is a reason that they're waiting. If it is to kill her, then why not kill her earlier? If it is to
Right.
take her blood, like why? Like there's obviously a point in, like there's something there.
Like, why
right?
they're
like,
waiting.
Why if they're
Do we think it's maybe like the Duchess protecting her? Not that she has any reason to, but if
like
the
why
Duchess,
she's delaying it? You
yeah, if the Duchess isn't sending the message to the Queen that hey, she's evolving.
I don't know. I feel sketched about the Duchess still.
Yeah,
I do too. I don't really
But-
like
but
the
it could
theory as
be,
I
could
said
be.
that.
Could be
Or if
because there's something
if
there. Like,
Hawk knew about her, if like the dissenters knew about her, were messages not getting like to the Queen because someone's intercepting them.
Maybe.
but Hawk seemed genuinely surprised when he was like, "Why didn't you
Yeah.
tell me about this?"
Yeah.
But maybe that could be an acting thing too. I guess I don't know.
So chapter 32 opens and Hawk is upset with Poppy for not mentioning the gift. So I think that's what you were touching
Yeah.
on. And I said, I think it has it's more than him just wanting to have heard it from Poppy. It seems like he has a good feeling a good understanding of what this gift actually means. And it's adding to the confusion of his plans, whether it be his task of guarding her or taking her, depending on
Yeah.
if my theory is correct.
Right? Because the plan was that they were going to use her as collateral, basically.
Right. But now they're like, shit, she's got the fucking power to start this revolution. If I'm right about
yeah.
like that being
Yeah.
why they were
And
scared.
maybe
it was
her
such a-
gift can like cure Craven. Like maybe there's like something
Yeah.
bigger to it.
Which is why
that-
the Duke and Duchess are like, shit, like we can't let this develop.
because she can't feel the Ascended's emotions,
Right,
right?
right,
and
right.
arguably Craven don't have like you lose yourself as a Craven.
Right.
So maybe as her gift develops, she can put that back into the Craven,
like put the
potentially,
puzzle
get
back
there.
together.
Like who knows? But I kind of forgot about that part of her being the maiden, as we were talking earlier.
Oh, okay. Okay, here we go. So this is when I started thinking that Hawk was royal, like was Cassian or whatever.
Yeah.
And I said, Hawk makes a comment after Poppy says, because they're walking through the town and everyone's like Googling
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
And Poppy makes a comment and says, it's like we're royalty passing through. And Hawk snorts and says, well, they just haven't seen many visitors. But Kieran is giving an outside look towards Hawk.
Yeah.
Is it because Hawk because hockey. That's what Siri put. Because hockey is Atlantean. Because Hawk is Atlantean, and maybe she's royal Atlantean. So I think at this point I'm starting to think.
Yeah, piece that together.
Yeah.
Even like going on that to continue on from there. Have you ever been here before? I asked Poppy, and he says only briefly. So like they're looking at him like he's royalty, but he's briefly been there.
Right. Interesting.
I didn't pick up on that. I did ask, is this a town, quote unquote, or is it a bunch of dissenters?
Oh, so you
And
were
that's
already
why
sus.
Hawk trusts them.
So you were already sus of this town.
Yeah.
Like it's not
Like,
what
this isn't what it seems.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they said
Well, that
there's-
little boy that kept looking out was like wasn't there like a boy there?
There was a little
that-
boy, yeah.
That kept like, I'm like, this seems strange.
Yeah. So do you think that all of the dissenters know exactly who Hawk is? And
yeah.
that's why they're like, holy shit,
In this
the
town.
prince is here.
Yeah.
In this
Yeah,
town,
yeah.
I think they do.
Yeah. Oh,
Especially after
interesting.
he said, like, oh, yeah, I've been here a time or two. And so had Kieran.
But what's interesting, obviously these people were expecting him and had to have been said, like, don't be like,
Right.
oh my God, the prince.
Right.
Like, it was so like they knew he was coming, couldn't say anything. So that's probably why, like, the young child, for example, was like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh shit,
But
don't
like,
say it, don't say
it's
it.
possible that Kieran, because we know now he's a Wolven,
Yeah.
ran ahead as his
Sure.
Wolven form, told
That's
them,
what
keep it low key, came
Yeah.
back while everyone else was sleeping.
Absolutely.
True. So now I wrote Elijah's eyes are described as hazel. That
Is this a
are
little boy?
No, that's
I
the.
I can't remember who
he's
Elijah. That's what I was
adult.
literally just gonna say. Who is Elijah? Elijah and Marg, I think is how you say it, are introduced in
They're
this
in
chapter.
the.
They're
They're
the
like the
castle people, right?
innkeepers.
The
Yeah.
innkeepers.
Yeah.
Okay. So I wrote Elijah's eyes are described as hazel that are more of a gold than brown. I said I'm chalking this up to another gold eye watch.
Yeah.
So we're assuming then if he's, I know I was so on it every time.
it. Yeah.
Like
eyes, what color are they?
it comes up too frequently
Yes.
to be
Yeah.
honest.
You're right.
So we think he's like Atlantean and or Wolven,
Mhm.
one of the two. And then I said Magda. Is that how you say-
Magda.
Magda?
Yeah.
How's it spelled? Magda.
Magda.
Yeah, Magda.
Okay. Magda. Magda.
I think so.
I can't remember how it was pronounced. Also says this has the same eye colors as Elijah. More gold eyes. So again, yeah.
Super cool. I didn't write it down, but I remember thinking it was sus that the Lord went out hunting with the men.
Yes.
And I think Poppy mentions it too.
Yeah, like because I think that might be a little bit later. I think that's next day, isn't it? When she's like thinking
Oh,
back
yeah,
about
yeah,
everything. But yeah, I did make note of that too. So now Hawk and Poppy are talking about her gift. I didn't go into detail, but essentially she's just explaining how her gift works,
Yeah,
right?
as much of what she
That
knows about
must
it.
be the next day.
No,
I think she even explains.
I
how
think it's
she-
the night before because of how this chapter ends. So I think this is
Hawk,
like
I thought
they're
you'd
in
be
her room.
asleep. Yes, I'm around the same area as you. I
Okay.
think.
And then Hawk says a comment that says, "You deserve so much more than what awaits you." And I said, "Why does this feel so ominous to me? Like it means more than just the ascension."
'Cause
And
it does.
lo and behold, it does. And then so now he's like getting up to go leave her room and she doesn't want him to leave. And she says, I wrote a quote, "I've trusted Hawk with my life, with my everything." And he says, "You shouldn't look at me like that." And I said, "Guys, please tell me Hawk is not going to end up being bad guy. He can't be bad guy, right?" And then chapter ends, Hawk, will you stay tonight?
I think I'm around the same part as you in my notes because I mentioned like I love them talking.
Mhm.
Going back to the Wolven bond though, there's a quote. It was as if we'd known each other for ages, foreshadowing.
Yep. I truly think that but now, okay.
But if she's part Wolven,
she is. Okay,
yeah.
I see what you're saying. 'Cause I'm
If
like,
we're
she's
going back
not
to
Wolven.
that potentially,
But yes, if she is part, like if her dad was,
yeah,
and
there
she's
could be
part,
familiarity to that.
that's where the
Wolven
bond is
part
coming
of-
Yeah.
from.
And that bond could have happened to him because she is part. Like maybe there is like an actual
Right.
bond.
Yeah.
Even
Right.
though she's part other thing.
Like I don't think obviously both of them don't need to be Wolven for a
Right.
bond to take place because
Yes.
her parents did, if our theory is correct.
correct.
yeah,
And then so the chapter ends with her saying, "Hawk, will you stay with me tonight?"
yeah.
So then chapter 33 starts, correct? My notes are correct there. Okay. And he says, "There's no way that I could be in that bed with you and not be all over with you in 10 seconds flat. We wouldn't even make it to the bed before that happened. I know my limitations and I know I'm not that I'm not a good enough man to remember my duty or yours, or that it would be so incredibly unworthy of you that it should be a sin. Even knowing that, there's no way I wouldn't strip that robe from you and do exactly what I told you I'd do when we were in the forest.
We love a morally gray man. Just
Right?
saying.
Our consent king. And she says, I know. And he says, do you? I'm not just going to hold you. I won't stop at kissing you. Your fingers won't be the only thing my fingers won't be the only thing inside of you. You need my need for you is far greater, Poppy. If I stay, you will not walk out of here, out of this door as the maiden. And I was like, oh,
tell him to
stay. Yeah.
Don't go.
And she says, I know. And he says, do you truly, Poppy? And then I went, Poppy is choosing herself and her wants. Yes, Queen. And she says, I had been changing and evolving like the gift I had been forbidden to wield, but remained determined to use. She said, when I cut the Duke's arms and head from his body, I had been cutting through the chains that I never chose to wear. I don't know when it finally happened, but I knew one thing for sure. Hawk wasn't the catalyst. He was the reward. And I was like, oh!
I love that so much.
Me
Like,
too.
yes, Poppy.
Internal realization. It was like a character development.
Yes.
This is like the next.
She's like,
level.
I know what this is, and I know I want it, and I know
And it's
that
okay.
it's okay.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, oh, I'm just so happy for her.
Yeah. It was really like a turning point.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
I really felt that. I also, as a side note, I'm like, I'm not sure how y'all listen to this and keep a straight face.
I work while I'm entering in data into the computer. That's how.
Right? Like I love to see myself listening to it. Like,
I would
am I
not.
just like,
Because I think I was reading this and like, I think my mom was around and I'm like, stare down.
Don't be suspicious.
Don't be suspicious.
it's like I'm doing something I shouldn't be doing, but I'm not.
I know.
Oh.
Or like you pull up to a gas station and realize your volume's up really loud.
Yes!
You're like, I'm gonna just
Oh no.
Or like, so I'll be reading, quote unquote, listening to my book. And like most of the time, Dakota, my husband, for you readers, is downstairs playing video games. So like can't hear shit. So I just play it on my phone. And then he'll come upstairs and like, fuck, I have to pause it. Like, go away. I'm with my book boyfriend right now. Get
Literally
out of here.
Oh, that's good.
Locked.
Good shit right there.
I get so annoyed. And then he'll start talking to me and I'm like, can you just go?
Can you get out of my life right now? It's my moment.
Do you understand what you're interrupting? Oh, dear Lord. Okay.
Oh.
So then I wrote, I had been bitten that night. But I wasn't cursed. So I said, now we know for sure. We had assumed, but now we know. And that's why she was slated as chosen by the gods. Only the king, queen, duke, and duchess and her brother know. So why does everyone else just accept that she has been chosen? So only those guys know that she was actually bitten and didn't turn crazy.
So do we think that is the reason she has her gift? Or did she get bitten and not turn crazy because the queen orchestrated this and then saved her on purpose?
Because she kind of like fades to black, right? In the memory. Like she doesn't say what happens when the queen shows up.
Correct.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we're going to learn more about that.
I think she just wakes up and like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Or like if she is part Atlantean.
Could a wolven...
Like she self-healed. I think she
She self-heals, or she was given, or she went back with the queen and was given more Atlantean blood.
Right.
Because doesn't Hawk give her his blood at some point to heal?
Yes.
I can't remember if that is past or present.
That's in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah. When
interesting.
She almost dies.
How interesting would it be if the blood she was given is Hawk's brother's blood because he's the Atlantean that they have right now? Like that's kind of fucked up almost.
That is.
Anywho, moving on.
That is interesting. And then Hawk says, "You are so damn beautiful and so damn unexpected." And I went, "Oh, Hawk." The deeper, redder scar just below his hip on his upper thigh was proof that he had his own nightmares. It looked like a brand of some sort, as if something hot and painful had been pressed to the skin. And she says, "The scar on your thigh, when did you get it?" And he said, "Many years ago, when I was dumb enough to get caught." And
by the people that...
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And she says, "It's weird." And then I said, "Is it weird that he sometimes talks as if he's lived dozens of years longer than what he had?" And then I wrote, "Atlantean!"
Right? Look at you, man.
And then I wrote, men taking birth control. Yes. Because he talks about how he takes like a herbal supplement or whatever.
The times here.
And then she says, you are so inappropriate. And he says, I'm about to get really inappropriate. I love him.
I can hear it in his voice too.
Right? Okay, so I have another really long quote. So there had been no going back since the night at the Red Pearl, and this felt too right not to be in some way destined. Quote unquote, Bond.
Right.
I felt that it was supposed to be right here. I was supposed to be right here in this very moment with Hawk, where it matters who I was and not what I was. It didn't matter if the gods found me unworthy, because I am worthy of this, of laughter, of happiness, of excitement, and of anticipation, of safety and acceptance, of pleasure and experience, of everything Hawk made me feel. And he was worth whatever the consequences because of this. Because this wasn't just about him. I knew it from the moment I asked him to stay. It was about me, what I wanted, my choice.
Yep.
And he says, promise you won't forget this. And I said, oh God, Hawk is going to be bad.
I wrote, why is he asking her not to forget it's real? Is he going to, quote unquote, betray her, break her trust?
Yep. Which, like, literally, when it happens, she doesn't even, like, think back to that moment. And because she's like, I can't trust him, like, everything. I'm like, no, he told you. He told you.
I know.
You don't
It's like I want to shake her and be like,
remember what he said.
she's been so indoctrinated.
Yeah.
Her.
Like, I know you're traumatized, but remember what
Right.
he told you.
Right.
And
That was the hardest part reading, like listening to it beyond that, was that like the screaming in my mind at her of like, oh, this isn't what you
I know. Okay. So chapter 34 opens and Phillips is now approaching them and is approaching Poppy, because she wakes up and Hawk is already gone, correct?
Yes.
But Hawk opens the door to her. She didn't care about being caught, so it opens and she's not. The bed dipped as he rose. I heard him stop by the foot of the bed.
He had to leave.
He had to
in the night
leave.
or something, or in the early morning.
Hi,
Yeah,
I
she
whispered,
wakes
is
up,
it time to get up?
And then she goes back to sleep.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right. Sorry. Read that again, Kristen. I'm sorry.
That's all it was, really. Is it time to get up? No. Is everything okay? Everything's fine. I just need to go handle something. Hawk says, you don't need to get up yet. Are you sure? He says, I am, princess, asleep. I'll be back as soon as I can.
What does it mean I'm going to handle something? Because then shit hits the fan. Like, that's the last they see of him.
I wonder if they have a meeting.
It does say, because she's like, oh, I think that's where he went when he had to handle something. I think it does say it. I'm pretty sure I have it in here. That's ringing a bell for me.
I couldn't. She's talking about how she can't ascend.
So then he leaves. Now she goes back to sleep. Then she wakes up. Phillips comes into the room.
Where'd I go? How would I survive? And I chose him. This was meant to be something that went beyond. That was meant to be something that went beyond last night. Something I never thought I'd get the chance to experience. And she's just thinking, sitting up, I kept the blanket wrapped around me. And I was just finishing braiding my hair when the knock came.
Oh, okay. So she doesn't go back.
Figuring Hawk would have just come in, I approached with caution. Yes, it's Phillips, came the familiar voice.
Okay.
That's when he's being all sus.
Got you. So Phillips comes in and he's saying like he thinks something's wrong.
Yeah, something about this place isn't right.
Because Kieran and Hawk, he feels that Kieran and Hawk are trapping them there.
Yeah, who do we know? You know who we don't know, this Kieran fellow. We know nothing about him. I don't know. And she's like, I don't know any of you.
And then she says Evans and Warren are missing.
I think he says that.
Sorry, is that what I...
You said she, I thought.
Oh, I'm sorry. He says that. I'm sorry.
I could have misheard.
So then Poppy is now starting to think that Phillips is the dissenter.
Yes.
And I said, but I don't think so. And I said, what is going on? And I said, because she then opens her senses and she's sensing fear from him.
Yeah.
So she's not like being suspicious.
Right.
Basically.
So she's like, now she's like kind of questioning things at this point. So then I said, Kieran has been stabbed. So this is when he convinces her to, or she's like, I'm just going to placate him. Like,
I'm just going to play along.
Yeah.
To see what's going on here.
So he takes her out into the hallway. Kieran comes into the hallway and is like, what are you doing? And then is it Phillips that stabs Kieran?
Tosses.
Because I wrote Kieran stab.
They must have had a little fight. Feisty?
Right here.
Does he turn into
the sound came. He deflected. Phillips grabbed hold of my arm. He was fast as he thrust his sword forward, so was Kieran. He deflected the blow, but the deadly point of the blade was only knocked off course. Instead of penetrating his chest, it sliced into his stomach and legs. I cried out as Kieran stared down at himself, and that's when his pale blue eyes that glowed iridescent in the dim light, Smith's.
Yep, I wrote.
And then he's like, you really shouldn't have done that at all.
And the sound that comes from him sounded like a dissenter from Ryland's attack. I wrote that down here.
The
too.
voice that came out of him was all garbled and all wrong. I don't know if
Doesn't
she
it get
mentions
confirmed
that.
it was him? Like,
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
him.
I wrote, so just before it mentions his eyes, my note says, the sound that sounded like a dissenter from Ryland's attack.
Oh, yeah, it does mention that.
So
I was ahead of you.
Kieran was the one that she already fought once?
No, Jericho was, I thought.
Jericho,
wasn't it?
yeah.
Jericho.
But
Yeah.
they sound the same because they're
Got you,
both
yes.
wolves. Or
Yeah.
wolven, sorry, I should
Got
say.
you.
And then Kieran clearly didn't listen to my notes. I literally wrote Kieran changing into a wolf right in here. Write down the description here. I very did not. So maybe Kristen can read it for us. Because I thought it was interesting how it's described.
His skin seemed to thin and darken. His jaw popped up, elongating along with his nose. Bones cracked and reformed as fawn-colored fur sprouted from every inch of skin I could see. The tunic he wore split across his chest. The breeches tore as his knees bent. He pitched forward, fingers growing, claws replacing nails. Ears lengthened as he opened his mouth in a cold, violent snarl. Fangs punched down from his jaw as his hands, his paws, smacked down on the floor. It took seconds, only seconds, and a man no longer stood before us, a huge creature on all fours, nearly as tall as Phillips, in a solid mass of muscle and sleek fur.
So does his wound go away when this happens? Because he was stabbed, right?
I think they heal.
Are wolvens fast healers like
I think
Atlanteans?
so.
Yeah.
I would assume just based
Yeah.
on how typical werewolves are.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. And so, okay, so here's me saying theory. So I said, okay, just a thought, because very clearly Kieran is woven. No shit, Katie. I was going to make notes of this one after listening the first time, but I decided I was getting a little crazy, LOL. But now I'm not so sure. After the spice scene in the last chapter, Hawk brushes his teeth against the back of her neck, and as she kissed it, she said it didn't hurt, but I'm wondering if this has something to do with a woven mating bond or something now. Because if Kieran is woven, then that's probably what Hawk is too. So
You're like, something is going on here, and maybe it's a woman just because we've been exposed to a woman now,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
but I think now looking back, it's the teeth mentioning in the spice scene is more just because we find out that Atlanteans also have the sharp
Yeah.
teeth. So I think that's more what it was. But in
Yeah.
my head, I'm like, oh, is he
It
the
makes sense to think
woven?
this at this point.
Yeah.
Okay,
I wonder if it's a
buddies
scent
and-
thing.
Yeah.
I wrote, there it is, not surprised he's woven.
Whoop, there it is.
Yeah. Not surprised.
So then I wrote Ryland's murderer is here. So this is when Jericho comes in, right?
Yeah.
And I put Hawk is here. Hawk shot Phillips. Kieran in the room. Hawk shot Luddy too. Kieran attacked by Bryant. I don't know if I got that right. Hawk knows Ryland's attacker, Jericho. It was literally like bullet.
Boom, boom, boom.
So does she just see Jericho and immediately knows? Is that how she knew it was?
I think it's the voice, I think, right? Does it say? I think it was the voice. But yeah, so basically, let me just summarize what all my bullets said. So Ryland's murderer is there, which we now know is Jericho, but at this point we didn't. Hawk, it now
they're in the barn or something right now, right?
Yes.
Like they've left, ran
because
Yeah.
Phillips is trying to get her away,
Yeah.
and so they get to like a barn or a shack or
Some sort of
something.
something.
And Hawk shows up. Hawk immediately shoots Phillips, so Phillips dead. And I think it's with like a bowstring,
what you're talking
what are those
about. I
called?
can't-
Crossbows?
Yes.
And then Kieran comes into the room because he was chasing them, right? I think
Yeah.
that's what happened. They
Yeah.
ran when he turned into a wolf.
Yes.
They run, they get to this barn,
Yes.
and Kieran shows up. Then Hawk shoots Luddy, and then Kieran attacked.
Which is another guard.
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Kieran attacks Bryant. I don't know who Bryant is. That must be another guard.
I think it's another guard.
And then Hawk knows Ryland's attacker, Jericho. So this is when we find out Jericho's name.
Yeah. So how it happens is spinning around, Bryant tries to make a run for it, but that's when I think Kieran has it. I cranked my head away from the wet crunch that echoed through the barn. There was silence. I saw the man who killed Ryland stride forward, his long-legged pace loose and relaxed. He smirked down at me. I'm so glad I'm here to witness this moment. And that's when Hawk says, "Shut up, Jericho." And she goes to Hawk to look at Hawk.
What?
And
because Jericho had to kill Ryan so that Hawk could take his place,
Yeah.
right? So it's like
yes, it was all pre-planned. Yeah. So then she extends her gift to try and sense stuff from Hawk, and she's not getting anything from him now. And the chapter ends with Hawk saying to Jericho, "Touch her, and you'll lose more than a hand this time. We need her alive." And my heart broke. So I'm like, "Oh no, he's bad."
Right? Like, it's coming true.
See, I don't think I was there yet because next chapter I won't say the beginning of this, but I'm like, I still think his motives are good.
I know. At the back of my mind, I'm like, he's still the good guy. This is what they want us to think. They want us to think he's a bad guy, but he's really going to be the good guy. And like, it might be pure desperation, but Hawk can't be bad.
Right? Because I really liked him.
Yeah. So then chapter 35 opens, right? I didn't miss anything at the end of that? Okay. And he says, "You and I need to talk. I'm sure you have a lot of questions." And she says, "Where are the other 2 guards?" And he says, "Dead."
Yeah.
Hawk left the room in the night to go kill the other guards. That's what it was. He had to go handle. That's what it was. I knew I wrote
But it didn't
down.
confirm it.
It was an unfortunate necessity. I'm good
We're
at
just
what I do.
making that assumption that that's what happened based off of like the language. He doesn't say, "Yes, I killed them," right? But it's like
I think so.
implied.
No, yeah, it's highly implied because he says dead. He answered without an ounce of hesitation as he rested the bow on his shoulder. It was an unfortunate necessity. So then it's like thinking back thoughts.
Yeah.
I'm good at what I do. And what is that? Killing. I knew without a doubt that when he left the room, that was what he'd done.
Okay. I remember it saying something about it. I'm like, I feel like we find out what it is. Yeah. And then I wrote, I still want to believe he's good, but damn, he's making it so hard to see it that way.
He just killed Phillips or whoever in cold blood, like innocent guy just trying to help.
So then Poppy says, "You're a dissenter." A dissenter, Elijah laughed deeply, causing me to jerk. Kieran smiled. "And here I thought you were smart," Jericho said. I ignored them. "You're working against the Ascended." Hawk nodded. Another fissure formed in my chest. You knew this thing that killed Rylan. Thing? Chuffed to Jericho. I'm insulted. Hawk said nothing.
And then I wrote, "I thought the Wolven were extinct."
Yeah.
And then who answers her? I didn't
Hawk.
write down. Hawk says, "There are many things you thought to be true that are not. However, while the Wolven are not extinct, there are few left."
Attack you?
Okay, for everyone listening, Amanda's cat just attacked Kristen out of
I think she just wanted love, like, because she was just like
stretching up,
but it went claws.
I heard the claws. Like, I heard the pull of.
I just wasn't expecting it.
Especially as we're talking about Wolven attacks.
I think I scared her away.
That is so funny.
She was coming up for pets before, but she wasn't touching.
Well, she's coming back. So
hi, Toga Kitty.
Watch your back.
Anyway,
so there are far few left. They're not extinct, but there are far few left. And then Hawk. So you're right, man. A Hawk saying, he knew that Rylan dying would create an opening because he needed to get close to Poppy. So it does actually say that in the book. He says, "But what you're thinking could not be further from the truth." And I thought, please be good. I was very distraught. And then she says, "You were sent by the Dark One." And he said, "I came to Macedonia with one goal in mind, and that was you." And she says, "How? Why?" And he said, "You would be surprised at how many of those close to you support Atlantia, who would want to see the kingdom restored, many who paved the way for me."
That's when she says, "Commander Jansen, she's smart, like I told you all."
The night at the Red Pearl, you knew who I was from the beginning. I was watching you. He says, "I was watching you for as long as you were watching me, maybe even longer."
This is a part I have a hard time believing because, maybe if I reread it, I would realize differently because he's basically saying, "I knew from there that you were you," but it seemed very genuine that he didn't.
Like he thought she was the maid, you mean?
Or that he didn't.
When she was in the room?
Yeah, when he met her in the room, it seemed like he really didn't know who she was. Like the way he kissed her at first thinking it was somebody else, and then he kind of realized, "Oh, you're not who I thought I was." That seemed really genuine.
But I wonder, because we're getting it from Poppy's point of view, if that's just...
I know, that's why
he's
I'm wondering.
acting.
Really good actor.
But he said, "You're not who I thought I was."
But maybe
Do
that's
you
just
think
his
he's
cover
like,
story.
oh, I know who she is. Now I have to pretend I don't know who she is. Like,
Or
act like that towards her?
if he knew she was the maiden, but maybe he was able to sense something, like, because he has that ultra scent, like scent,
Because it was
smell
somebody
and
else's
senses.
robe, so he's like, oh.
But if he knew who she was, like if he's like, yeah, I know this is the maiden.
Yeah.
The moment he gets that close to her, maybe he can sense something about how she might be part Wolven or like part Atlantean. Like maybe
And he wouldn't
there's
expect
aspects
that.
in that
That's
he didn't
interesting.
know.
That's interesting. Yeah, like a part of me wants to read the first few chapters again, just to like,
Yeah.
because
To
I
take
feel
that
like
back in.
from what I like digested, I don't know if that's the right word to use.
Absorb?
Yeah, absorb. Thank you. He really seemed to not know, or like even. Did we get to the point? Yeah, when like she was out on the Duke's whatever, like that's different. But he just seems to be like, I've been watching you. But it seemed like there's so many times where he didn't know where she was. So I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't believe you totally, guy.
I think it's a little bit of both, because obviously like he's got super strength and
Mhm.
supervision and whatever. So
Yeah.
like she just might not be aware that
Maybe.
Yeah.
he was there anymore.
I think it's just from coming from her
because
point
it's her
of
point of
view.
view.
It's
Yeah.
a biased point of view.
Kristen, I'm going to have you read this next part because I don't think I wrote down the quotes correctly, but I said you were planning this for a while, and he says for a very long time. Hannes didn't die from a heart ailment. That part. Can you read that?
It clicked into place with the tremor that caused me to drop my dagger. You were planning this for a while, for a very long time. That's Hawk. Haynes, my voice thick, hoarse. He didn't die of a heart ailment, did
Who
he?
is he?
I know, I was just thinking that. Who is that? The poison he drank at the ale that night at the Red Pearl had something to do with it.
Did someone die way, way back at the very beginning when she was at the Red Pearl?
No. Hold up.
I literally don't remember who this
Same.
person is.
I remember thinking that, but
Let me go.
the only other time there was anything at the Red Pearl.
And she said, did a certain woman help him with that drink? The same one who told me to go upstairs. Is Hannes the very first personal guard that died before Rylan?
Yes.
Okay. So
He's
we
the
don't
one-
really know him as a person. We were just told
Yeah.
her first guard died of a heart ailment.
Gotcha.
Yes.
That's why.
This is just going back in
we
time.
literally
saying-
Yeah,
heard of him one time.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
this is saying like how long he's been watching her, essentially.
Yes.
So he was hoping to get the guard point at that time,
Yes.
but then
Yes.
Rylan got
But
it.
Rylan got it.
Okay.
Yes. And then
Interesting.
she says, did a certain woman help him with the drink? The same one who told me to go upstairs.
I
So now
felt that
she's like,
she was that woman. And
yes.
I'm like, this
Yeah.
is something to do something.
Yes, because she knew
That's
exactly
why.
who she was.
Yeah.
And that she's
Yeah.
the maiden. Like, how would she have known that? Well, it's because she's working with
Yeah.
him.
Does it explain why wouldn't Hawk just have taken her there? Like, why?
I think because he wanted to get
Upstairs.
close to her. Remember?
Yeah.
Like he was saying, like, I think he wanted it to be as least suspicious as possible. Like, that's
Yeah.
why he created the whole diversion.
But like,
That's
he
why-
was alone in a room with her. Why couldn't he have just taken her through the blood floors with her kicking and screaming at that point? Like, nobody knew she was there. The Duchess didn't know. Like, there really wouldn't have been a lot of.
There might have been more of a search for her, though.
Right.
If she
Maybe.
suddenly
It
goes
raises more
missing.
suspicion.
That's true. Then they would have went to go find her.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then she says, Victor, don't lie to me. Is that why you weren't there when he was killed? And he says, I know you're upset and there's a lot I need to tell you. Poppy goes to the attack with the dagger. So she attacks him at this point, right?
And he doesn't
This
say
time
no
I
there.
aim
He should have said,
first.
like, no, I wasn't responsible. He's like,
He doesn't. He kind of says, like, I don't blame you, but I've seen what happens when you get railing gate. There's a lot I need to tell you. Like, I feel like he's trying to say at that point, like, I didn't plan on that to happen.
he should have said that, though, because
But I don't think he can, with a good conscience, say, no, I
That's
didn't
true.
plan that, because he did plan
It
the
is the
event that
result of
led
his-
to Victor's death.
Well, okay, this is what I wrote. It said, this is why you never smiled, because you had to hide your sharp teeth, 2 of them. Fangs. Hawk is Atlantean. I was fucking right.
right, you're like, confirmed. Suck it, everyone.
And he says, you finally see me for what I am.
Yeah, there we go. Because how could he hide it? He had to hide the sharp teeth. 2 of them. Fangs.
Jeez.
Hawk having to put her in the cell, trying really hard to hold on to hope that I was right and Atlanteans are actually good, but this is making it hard.
I don't know. Like, I also wrote, I knew it, and I think I was thinking about that too.
The Atlantean
Yeah.
part, yeah. Yeah. And then I said, poor Poppy, I feel so bad for her.
I
Now
really
she's
thought
like,
he was Wolven. That was where my
Yeah.
I was like, interesting.
I had
like
too many
woman as opposed to
theories.
Atlantean.
Yeah,
you mean?
Yeah.
yeah.
So now she's like full on depresso and like beating herself up. Chapter ends with Hawk coming down to the cell and saying, Poppy, what am I to do with you? And I was like, ah.
I also, at some point, was like, Hawk is the prince, but I still think his motives are good. So at some point, there's something I don't think actually says,
But you're
he's
still
the
suspecting
prince,
he is.
was
but I'm like, no, he's the prince.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't need this confirmed.
I
don't
know it in
need
my
written
book.
down.
Every time that he is around or he speaks of the dark one, it's like he almost evades it. Because even when
Yeah.
she's like, you came here because of the dark one.
And he like diverts.
Yes. So
Yeah.
it's like,
Can I also, how does this end? Poppy, no.
chapter ends with him saying, Poppy, what am I to do?
What am I to do with you? Because before we get too far, does he call her princess because he wants her to be his princess? Is my next comment.
Yes, I wrote that in here. I'm like, that's what he calls her princess.
Never clued into that. Even
the moment I'm like, he's the prince, then I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Even if like initially that wasn't the intent, because I don't believe it was. I don't
think it initially was.
It's just like how fitting that that's what he called her.
Yes.
Because actually, I don't even think it's
thought it was
actually
so
confirmed yet that he's the prince. Like, I don't think they write it
hasn't.
out.
It's in chapter 37. I just scrolled.
But I'm literally like, nope, he's the prince.
Yeah.
This is happening.
You were on it.
That's cool.
So she says, you're an Atlantean. That's what you do. You destroy people. And he says, ironic coming from someone who spent her whole life surrounded by the Ascended. And I put, are we about to find out that they are in fact the bad guys and Atlanteans are good? I hope so.
Right?
So Hawk admits to killing the Duke. So it was him that killed him.
I love that Hawk killed him.
Yeah.
I was hoping that was going to be the case.
I said, I feel like this has to be a good sign, right?
Yeah. Because the Duke seemed pretty bad.
So Hawk is now fixing Poppy's wound. Is this with the blood at this point?
I don't think so, no.
So he doesn't do that until she's like about to die.
Okay. Yeah, she had to be attacked.
So
Jericho
he's just
or
like
someone.
cleaning because he's like, damn it, like you didn't tell me it was that bad.
Yeah.
Because she gets it.
Yeah, you're bleeding barely.
Yeah.
Don't touch me.
Don't touch me.
That's not what you said last time.
Okay, so then she says, was any of it true? And I'm like, Poppy, yes, it was!
Right.
He told you!
said this.
He told you, remember!
Remember who you are.
This is also something as I'm reading like back. So I'm your hostage until the Dark One gets here. You plan to use me against the king and queen. Clever girl, he murmured. You are the queen's favorite maiden. Does this mean she has more than one maiden?
Well, she's the second one.
But you're the queen's favorite maiden.
It almost sounds like current.
It almost
times.
sounds
Like
just
present.
rereading it again. It almost like, do they have multiple maidens and they just don't tell people?
Oh.
I mean, there could be because this is just Macedonia or just that.
Yeah.
One. It's like,
See, I just read it as like she's the second one.
That's what I did
Oh,
initially,
yeah.
but now that I'm reading it right now,
that's interesting.
like it seems like they withhold a lot of information, and I wouldn't be surprised if they withheld enough information that they had multiple maidens.
And like, how many books is this series?
6.
Like 6, I think.
It's crazy to think how much we've already learned.
And how
like,
much
and
more
it's
we're
been
gonna have.
one book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's so much to
Yeah.
this like universe of like.
It was a lot of
things.
world building at the beginning. I feel like we're really going to get into it as
Yeah.
the series continues.
Yes.
I think so too.
Okay, so I wrote they were created by accident. The Craven were created by
Yes.
accident by the Wolven. I wrote.
Oh, really? Why did I think that they were?
I didn't think it was by Wolven.
The Vampire.
No, the Craven is created by the Vampire and Ascended, same thing, correct?
Yes.
The Ascended called themselves the Ascended, but the Atlanteans called them Vampire.
Yes.
I think
Yes.
the Vampire make the Craven.
Yes.
So why did I write Craven or Wolven's fault? Type out here. 1504 is the.
Do you see anything about when they
1704.
talk
Well,
about the Vampire?
The hard part with the timestamps is like I don't know where she is in the
I know.
chapter.
I'm gonna find it in
Yeah.
here. Hold on.
Because I that's how
So this is
that was
after
my
they get
takeaway
healed.
Eventually, was that
Katie, it's
Huh?
after the healing happens.
Let me go back. Was any of it true? I feel so sad for Poppy. And then I jumped. So was any of it true? Was happened at 1658. So like 5 minutes later.
So it's
probably
not the
a little-
Wolven. It's literally Hawk speaking. I just found it. Silence fell, but it didn't last long. The Craven were our fault. Their creation, that is. All of this. The monsters and the myths, the war. What has become of this land? You, us.
Okay.
It all started.
That's what I was
Vampire,
Yeah.
right?
That's
Or
what I was
sorry,
referencing.
It's the
It's like a chain of
what is
events.
his
You
name?
know,
Atlantean. So it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
Atlantean's fault because they made the Vampire, who then made the
my
Craven?
people lived alongside mortals in harmony for thousands of years, but then King Omir Malik created the Craven and cut him off. Like I said, he's like, you're wrong. He fell hopelessly in love with a mortal woman. Her name was Isabeth. Some say it was Queen Alonia who poisoned her. Others claim it was a jilted lover of the king's who stabbed her. Either way, she was mortally wounded. As I said, Malik was desperate to save her, and he committed the forbidden act of ascending her, what you know as the act of ascension.
Which
So
is
she
when
was
a
the first to
human
ascend.
Drinks Atlantean
Atlantean
blood.
blood. After they've been pretty much drained.
Yeah. She became the first vampire. Malik drank from her, only stopping once he felt her heart begin to fail. Then he shared his blood with her. Perhaps if your act of ascension wasn't so guarded, the finer details wouldn't come as a surprise to you. And she's saying ascension is a blessing from the god. It's far from that. More like an act that can either create near immortality or make nightmares come true. We Atlanteans are born nearly mortal, but we remain so until the culling. So that's when they change. The fangs appear and they eat.
This whole because so you have to.
We may be harder to kill than ascended, but we can be ascended.
Can be ascended or can be killed.
We can be killed. Sorry. So the Atlanteans are harder to kill than ascended, but they can be killed.
And to become
they age slower.
An ascended and or vampire, you need to drink the blood of an Atlantean.
Yeah.
So
After
to
they
become
breed you.
Yeah. To become ascended or aka vampire.
Blood.
So if you're jumping back to like Twilight times, in order to turn into a vampire, they essentially kill you. They drain your blood so there's none left, and then they replenish it with their own blood.
Yeah.
But they don't do that in Twilight.
They do.
You just get bit, I thought.
Mm.
I don't know.
No, I think in Twilight you just get bit.
Maybe it's Vampire Diaries I'm thinking of. I don't
I
know.
haven't read that one.
Listen,
So this one, your
listen,
blood
I went
has
through a
to
big
be-
vampire phase.
has to be drained. Is
You
that...
basically, your heart basically, it sounds like, has to stop, and then they
It's
give
replenished with
then
the
they
blood.
give you their blood.
But they
Gotcha.
can't become Atlantean, so they become
They
vampire.
don't.
Yes.
Like you don't drink their blood; they put it in your veins,
I think
Well,
they
they
feed
drink
it to you.
Yeah, they feed it.
and
to
that somehow fills up your blood. But yeah,
Like
what have you?
like they make you drink.
Some sort of
Yeah.
magical way.
yeah.
It's okay.
And then the vampire accidentally created the Craven because they then tried to give them their blood.
Yes.
Their blood doesn't have the same
Tried to
powers as
give them
Atlantean.
their blood, meaning people.
Like they tried to use their own blood. Like so they drank the
vampire-
blood of the
Ascended, the Ascended or the aka the vampire tried to then do what the Atlanteans did, and that
them, but
created
to a
Craven.
human.
right,
Yeah.
which created a Craven.
But which is biting still.
Yes.
So,
Blood
but
biting,
it's
drinking blood.
interesting. Biting, like in the Ascension, you're drinking somebody else's blood to get turned.
Yes.
As a Craven isn't drinking their blood to turn
No.
into a Craven. They're getting attacked or bit by, right?
If you get turned into a Craven from a Craven, all you need is a bite. And
Yeah.
It's because they don't have any, they're just,
So, like, in that scenario, nobody, like, if they were like, oh, you turned me into this, I'm going to turn this human into it, they weren't feeding them their blood. Why would they try to bite them?
So it
instead?
might
That's
have. I
kind of
think it
interesting.
started that way. I think the first Craven or the
Yeah.
first few Cravens started because an Ascended or a vampire was like, "Oh, I'm going to do what this Atlantean did for me."
Yeah.
They created the Craven, and
thinking
now
they
it's
could do it again.
thinking
Thinking
it
they
would-
have the Atlantean blood, but
but they
they're
didn't
not
feed
Atlantean.
them with blood. That's what
They did.
They
though,
did. I think the
time.
and what
first
happened,
Craven.
nothing, or they still did turn into a Craven.
They turned into a Craven.
And by
and
feeding
then
the
the
blood.
Cravens go like bloodthirsty, and,
And
they
they're
just
the
start
ones that are
fighting
doing
the
people,
fighting.
creating more Cravens.
Yeah.
But the
Got
initial
you.
Craven was created the same way the vampire
Got
were,
you.
but because
By-
the vampire's not Atlantean, they didn't become
Okay.
Atlantean. They
Yeah.
became Craven,
Interesting.
and then they
There's
just
a
went.
lot
They didn't
to
become
wrap my head
Ascended.
It
around.
They
was.
came-
It
yeah.
was a lot.
Okay.
It was a lot. So then I just wrote Ascended are the bad guys. They made the Craven. So that's what happens there. And then I said the Ascended are using the Atlantean to give the gift of life. Is it Hawk's brother? So I
Yeah.
instantly went there. which they were, right?
Pardon? Yeah.
That
I
gets
also wrote
confirmed.
the religion is awful.
Yeah.
This is awful. I feel for Hawk. And then Prince Malik is Hawk's brother?
And
Question
how
mark?
do more
Question mark?
people not ascend? Like, for example, she's like, well, my brother did that. But I imagine you're draining their blood so they don't
Yeah.
have a choice.
Yeah.
Like, you
Yeah.
just do this or you die.
Or you die. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
And so the vampire need blood to survive, whereas the Atlanteans do not.
Yes.
In order to keep like their gift or whatever, which is why we find out, which we assumed is why the babies are taken away. I think you called that. I think you called
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
Which is why the babies are taken and they're essentially like a food source. So all of those babies that were stolen are now
Dead.
dead, which is why you never see or hear from them as they're
Yes.
serving the temple.
Correct.
No, they did. They did.
They did.
And then so I wrote a quote from Hawk. You don't want to accept what I'm saying, even as logical as it sounds, because it means your brother is one of them. And the queen who cared for you has slaughtered thousands.
Yep.
I would also have a hard time.
Right. So then I jumped ahead because that was at 1719 and 1727. So like almost 8 minutes later. So it's probably a bit of text. But I wrote, you belong to me. And then I put Wolven Bond ?
Right? So maybe she is part.
yeah.
Woven.
But I don't remember. I didn't write any
Yeah.
other context to that quote. I wish I would have.
Give me a second.
You belong to me. You belong
to me. Okay. But the others you claim. I had nothing to do with Victor's death. Here's where he actually says
Okay,
it.
good.
But but the others you claim you killed them, owning it doesn't change. It had to happen. His chin moved from my cheek. And then he said, just like, you need to understand that there's no way out of this. You belong to me.
Oh, so he says it to her.
He says it to her, and my heart turned over slowly. Don't you mean I belong to the Dark One? I meant what I said, princess.
Ooh, so
I
this is
don't.
when he
Yeah.
essentially.
So then she's like, I don't belong to anyone. And then he's like, if you believe that, then you are a fool. Or you're lying to yourself. You belong to the Ascended. You belonged to the Ascended. You know that. It's one of the things you hated. They kept you in a cage.
She's like,
But you've never been free, Hawk says.
Yeah.
So I wrote a really long quote about the scar on his thigh. So I put, the scar on his thigh is the royal crest burned into his skin. And he says, do you want to know why I have so much knowledge about what happens during your fucking ascension, Poppy? Know how I know what you don't? It's because I was held in one of those temples for 5 decades. Because I was sliced and cut and fed upon. My blood was poured into golden chalices that the second daughters and sons drank from after being drained by the king or queen or another ascended. I was the god's damn cattle. I wasn't just used for food. I was used for entertainment. I know exactly what it feels like to not have a choice. It was your queen who branded me, and I have not been, and had it not been for the foolish bravery of another, I would still be there. That's how I got the scar. And I put, oh, Hawk. Sadness.
Yeah.
So I think we find this out later, but just to confirm, it's his brother that is the foolish one that takes his place, essentially.
Yes.
Yeah, whether the person that saved him, he is definitely being fed upon now.
Which we're assuming is the brother, or we know is the brother.
I never really
I think it's confirmed it's his brother later, but I at this point was like, it's his brother.
Yeah.
And then he says, neither the prince nor I want to see you harmed. As I said, we need you alive. Why? Why am I so important? Because they have the true heir to the kingdom. They captured him when they freed me. The Dark One has my brother. Okay, so yes, it is.
So, yeah.
Wait, the Dark One has my brother? Isn't his brother the Dark One, or isn't he the Dark One?
Oh, sorry, the Dark One has a brother. I'm sorry. They captured him when they freed me. And then I put, the Dark One has a brother. Wait, crackpot theory. Do we think Hawk could be the Dark One? And that's why all the henchmen are listening when he says no one can touch Poppy.
Well, if you go back, I don't remember earlier in the chapter, but she says something like, are you the Dark One? And he says, I said what I meant, or I meant what I said.
Yeah,
he doesn't deny it then.
I didn't pick it up quick enough. You did. I did not. I think I'm just picking it up here. Because then I said, do we think that his brother saved him from the temple and then when doing so got himself captured? Yeah. And that's why Hawk is so sad when he thinks about his brother. He told Poppy that his brother was not dead, so this would fit.
Yeah.
And his brother is like the first heir to whatever?
Yes, because he's the older brother.
Yeah.
So he, by age, is the true heir.
Yeah. And it would make sense. They'd probably love to have him instead.
Yeah.
Right.
Hawk is like the person.
And then I said, you were important to the queen. You were her favorite. I don't know why. Maybe it has something to do with your gift. Perhaps it doesn't. But we will release you back to them when they release Prince Malik. So Prince Malik is the brother's name.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So he's essentially telling her, like, your
ransom.
Yes.
Well, she's saying, you're planning to use me as ransom. And he's like, that's better than sending you back in pieces, isn't it?
And
which I don't think he would actually ever do.
Makes me sad. So then she says, he didn't care about my safety beyond making sure I was breathing when it came time to make the exchange. Poor Poppy. I want to believe that Hawk is good and that he cares for Poppy, but he is making it damn hard to feel that way. I'm clinging to the fact that when they were together, he made Poppy promise him that she would never forget tonight.
I think there's a bit of like, I think he's playing it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if it's just easier for him to like mask his emotions. Because I think they're definitely there.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, please don't forget that this is real. Like, please remember that this is real. So I think that's a bit of masking on his part.
Yeah.
He's masking his emotions, and maybe, I don't know if he's doing it because it's easier for him, or he thinks that it's easier for her to be mad at him.
Right.
If he doesn't show that he cares.
And I also think too that like this was all put into motion before he fell for her.
Yes.
Like, I think that
100%.
was like a misjudged moment.
Yes.
And he's like, shit.
Yes. That's where I go back to like he says like, you're not who I expected.
Yes.
Like, that's where I go back to that. Like, maybe there is that bond that because he knows what he's looking for. He hasn't been fed all these lies his entire life.
Now, do we think, so if we're jumping back to our theory where we think that she is part Wolven or whatever, are you okay?
Yeah, I just heard. Standing up.
Hunched over and died there for a minute. You all right?
Fine.
Fine, everything's fine. So do we think, so if we're jumping back to our theory where we think that she is part woven and that there is some kind of a mating bond, do we think that he is aware?
I think he's probably
Of
more.
this moment?
I think he might be. I think logically, it actually would make more sense for her to be aware of it first, because if she has that part woven in her,
Right.
then I think that's more of like that. Like a woman would sense it first, but I don't think she's fully aware of everything.
That's what I was going to say. Is she
Where
more like,
he
I
might
don't know
be-
why, but I trust him. I don't know why, but
because she said that,
she
like,
just doesn't realize what it is.
like you had that really long quote a few chapters ago where she's like, "I know this is right.
Yeah.
I know."
yeah.
Like,
So I think she knows it without
Like, she's
knowing
I
it.
Or-
think he knows.
You don't think so?
Because when it clicks that she's Atlantean, he's like, "Holy fuck, you're Atlantean!" Like
That's true.
So I feel like I think,
but he
would
doesn't know
be
that she might be part woven if our theory is correct.
Yeah.
correct.
Because that hasn't been confirmed
Yes.
yet. That's still just our
Yeah, that's true. But if she is, I don't think he knows. Because he was very shocked to find out. I think that changed everything. As soon as he learned she was Atlantean, that's when he was like, we can no longer give her to the queen. I think
Right.
that's why. It wasn't like, because I love you. It's like,
Yeah.
well, now you're going to just be replaced by
Yeah.
my brother. Like,
right.
and I love you as well. Whereas right now, I don't think he thought she was going to be used for that.
But now
He
Yeah.
knows that he's basically replacing whoever's there.
right.
And I feel like he'd rather himself be in that position than her.
Yeah.
I think he was like, well, shit.
Yeah. Well, there goes that point.
Yes. I think.
I
So-
still think there's a lot of complex emotions because I don't know if he I don't know.
I don't
I think
he
there's a
meant
lot
to
of
fall in love with
complex
her.
yeah
He did not
emotions there.
No, and he loves his brother.
Yeah.
Like you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So he
So
can't pick
now-
her over his brother.
Right.
Like,
Right. So then chapter ends with Hawk leaving to go tell the king and queen, the Dark One and the Prince Malik's parents that he has Poppy. Hawk
Yeah.
says, not everything you've heard is a lie, Poppy. Not everything.
It's
What
just
does that
not
mean?
everything was a lie, Poppy. Not everything. Not everything she heard. Not everything
Oh,
was
sorry,
a
I
lie,
wrote that down
Poppy.
wrong.
Not everything.
Not okay.
So I went back to like
him telling her to
him
remember
telling her
this.
to remember that.
yes, me too.
Okay.
And the lies weren't even really lies. They were a withholding of information.
Yes.
Like by
too.
omission.
Right? Exactly.
Okay, so Delano, so chapter 37 opens. Delano and I'm struggling to remember who this is. Please remind me. Delano
Was
and
this the girl that, like, he ended up letting her stay in the room and she kept checking?
No, that's
him?
Magda, isn't it?
I
Yeah.
have no idea then.
Delano and Nail, how is it spelled? It literally sounds like hammer and nail. That's how she says it.
Not
who
everything was
these
a
people are.
lie. Isn't one of them? Weren't they in the fight?
Yeah, they are, because that's when this starts.
No, but weren't they in like the original fight where we found out about Jericho?
Maybe. But I
I
wrote Delano and
think-
Nail coming to move Poppy to a comfortable cell. Please don't try to escape. We don't want to hurt you. If you are hurt if we hurt you trying to defend ourselves, he will be very angry, assuming he is Hawk. And the way they talk about him
Yeah.
is if he sets the rules. Could he be Prince Castile? So this is what I'm like just
Yeah.
like,
You're
I'm
like-
So it's Naill. Nail.
N-E.
N-A.
So Nail. with 12.
Naill. Yeah.
Okay.
Huh.
Interesting. I'm like, it literally just sounds like nail. That's how I wrote it. in
Yeah.
notes. I said, could he be Prince Castile? Is Hawk even his real name?
Actually, she spelt it differently twice.
Oh, really?
So on one page, I'm going to open this door and Nail and I are going to escort you. And it's Naill. Literally the next page in the ebook, Niall.
Interesting. It's
Yeah.
a typo.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And she spells it earlier. Like I'm not lying.
For our readers that want to actually see this, can you tell them what page this is on?
535.
Page 535, friends. Go check it out.
So yeah, it really wasn't Nail agreed, and it's Naill. Literally further down the page. The truth is Nail Niall. I just noticed that.
That's funny.
Anyway,
That's funny.
anywho.
A little tidbit.
Okay, so now Jericho comes down to collect Poppy and is talking to Delano about getting his pound of flesh. And he said, Delano says, I know she cut you, and Poppy pipes in twice.
Yes. Don't forget the hand.
And then Jericho, says, don't forget the hand. And he says, well, that's not her fault. That's on you, Delano adds. Yeah, well, I can't take it out on the prince, can I? Hawk equals prince, doesn't he?
Right?
Yep.
Sure does.
She just stood, so my next note says, she just stood there beside them when they said, my son was given to the gods. Oh, so this is
This
Mr.
is-
Tulis.
Yeah.
So Mr. Tulis is talking to her and
Tierman?
says,
No. Sorry. I read that. I'm like, I just saw Tulis. You're right.
Okay.
I read Tierman, and then I was like, no, that's the wrong.
Like,
That's the
not
Duke and
that.
Duchess.
Yeah.
So Tulis is down. Mr. Tulis is coming down with Jericho to also try and hurt Poppy
Yes.
at this point, and he says
Because he's mad that she didn't speak up.
Yes.
yes, because she was standing there, she was feeling all the emotions, she was really sad about it, but like she couldn't say anything.
Yeah.
She was watching.
Yeah.
And he says she just stood there beside them when they said my son was to be given to the gods. She just stood there and did nothing. And then I put Mr. Tulis, and I said, you cannot tell me you didn't know. And then she says, is your son with you now? And he says the Ascended will not get their hands on Tobias.
Yeah.
We will not lose another son to them. And I said, yay, I'm so glad they made it out. Woohoo.
Right.
Flash forward to like 2 seconds later.
Yeah.
I was kind of sad that he had to die.
Me too.
Like, I know he was attacking her, but like, I feel so bad for him.
Yeah.
I like at this point I don't think I did because sorry, words are hard.
It's a good thing we don't have like a podcast. For
I
today.
know. What the heck?
Yeah.
I think I was thinking like is he that good of a person if he's taking out the Ascended sins on Poppy?
She literally didn't.
She
do anything.
literally
didn't-
she didn't do anything except for like she didn't speak up.
Right.
How many other Ascended didn't speak up either
Right.
though?
Right.
Exactly.
Like he's literally taking like sins out on her that is like that's misplaced anger.
I think his main point of going towards her though is that she was also up on like the dais or whatever.
He assumes that she is in on
Yeah.
all of this,
Yeah.
but she
Where
isn't.
she has
but-
no idea what's going on, but he
Yeah.
doesn't know that.
Yeah.
Assuming makes an ass out of you
Um,
and I.
So then the next quote I wrote is, and I don't know who's saying this, so please
Yep.
correct me, but I said, and you would betray the prince who aided your family in escape, who assured your son would grow and thrive. And then I put, I guess we now know where Hawk was the night of the right. And then I put, Prince!
That's Delano said.
Delano says that?
Delano.
Okay. The others attack Nail, saying, kill any who come close to you, and throws her a sword. So this is when
Yeah.
the bad side are all.
I only wrote fuck Jericho this chapter.
Like he just
That
malicious.
sums it up.
Like, it's like you're on the good side, but you're
Yeah,
not good. Like,
yeah.
you're just out for blood.
Okay, so I wrote, this is me just propping myself up a little, guys. I said, can I just take a moment to express pride in myself
What awesome I am, guys.
for catching all of the eye color remarks? I feel very vindicated, LOL. And then I put a quote. Nail turned as one of the men slipped past into my cell. One quick glance at his eyes, neither ice blue nor amber, told me that I was squaring off with a mortal. Boom, LOL.
Right? Like literal eye color matters. Very much so.
Sorry, I had to brag a minute.
I love that.
So Jericho threatens to take her hand. He swings the dagger, but the blow never connects. A woman with pale blue eyes and white fur is standing over her. Kieran. Chapter ends as, shit, get the prince. Get him now.
And this is
Yes,
Kieran. saying
Kieran.
this?
Yeah.
Because she's like mortally wounded
I
at
was gonna
this
say, I
point.
think she learns when she's like dying that
Yeah.
he's
So chapter 38, I wrote, Hawk is there. Hawk equals prince. Hawk has to be. Open your
Yeah,
eyes,
catch up,
Hawk,
Katie.
please. I need you to open your eyes, please. You cannot die. I won't allow it. He bites into his wrist and and wants her to drink at his blood. And I said, Kieran just called him Castile, Prince Hawk, a.k.a. Castile. Oh my God. He calls her princess. This is clicking. He's prince and she's princess. It's all in caps. I was very excited. And I said, is she about to become ascended because she almost bled to death and is
Right?
now drinking his blood?
because she was like bleeding enough to almost be
Yeah.
like.
And she asks him that, and
Yeah.
I feel like he tells her no, but I don't remember.
Yeah, he
why.
says no. He there's a reason. I don't even understand
sure I
it.
wrote
You
it down.
haven't drank enough of my blood or something.
Maybe that's
Yeah.
what it was. Maybe that's what it was. So now she started drinking the blood, and she says, "I don't hurt anymore. The blood of an Atlantean has healing properties. I told you that," he says.
Yeah.
So he basically compelled her to drink the blood, from what I gather.
Yeah, and
Because-
this is confusing to me again with the whole ascended thing because he's talking about how the blood has healing powers, and I don't know. It confuses me with the whole ascension
I know.
situation.
I feel like we're still learning.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna make sense at the end of the series. Like it'll all come into
Yeah, I
sense
think
whenever.
he did compel her because if you go back,
Like she's saying how she doesn't want
Yes,
to.
correct. Yeah.
So if you look, he's like, drink. He whispered or yelled. I wasn't sure, but his voice was everywhere, all around me, inside, and his eyes. I still couldn't look away from them. His pupils seemed to expand. Drank from me, and he goes on like his voice kind of changes. So I think there's that could be because he's
Think
like
that he forced her to, like he had some sort of power to make her drink.
I think he has like Did any of you watch The Vampire Diaries?
No.
almost as if he had control over my body. I lifted my gaze. Yeah, so he's like Penelope. Hawk spoke. There was something different about his voice, smoother and deeper, as if it carried an echo. Look at me. And then it's like I had
she's
no
making
control.
eye contact, and he tells her to do something. She has to.
But even here, she's not looking at him, as almost as if I had no control. I lifted my gaze to his eyes, the honey-hued, churned, swirling with brighter golden flecks. My lips parted. I couldn't look away. What was he doing?
So none of you watch The Vampire Diaries, so you're not going to exactly get this reference, but I'll kind of explain it. So in The Vampire Diaries, the vampires have like compelling powers, and it kind of works the same way. Like if you lock eye contact, they can do this thing where they're with their eyes, where they essentially can just like control you, basically. And like it explains it the same way. Like that's literally what I was reading.
Yeah.
But the same thing. Like the pupils dilate, they like focus, and they have like control. So that's kind of what
it's almost like being a good like sweet talker, like
but like actual powers. Yeah. So okay, so here I wrote, will I turn into a vampire? And he says to turn you would require way more blood than that.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, so she's not going to turn.
Right. Yeah.
And then I put Poppy's getting turned on by thinking about Hawk's Prince Castile. He inhales and stops breathing for a second, assuming these are like wolf senses. Can he smell her emotions, hormones, etc.? I wondered that. And he says, Poppy, stop thinking what you're thinking. And she says, how do you know what I'm thinking? And he says, I know. And she says, you don't know. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, how does he know? Clearly he does. And then Hawk, I put, Hawk's blood's making her horny AF, LOL.
Sure is.
And she says, kiss me. And he says, you don't want that. She says, I do. I need it. And he said, you only think that right now. It's the blood. And she says, I don't care. Touch me, please. And he says, you think you hate me now. If I do what you're asking, you will murder me. Because have they actually had sex at this point?
Yeah.
They
did it in the room.
And that's when he was like, don't forget this.
Yes. So
then she's about to run away and...
Yes. Okay. So this will be the second go around. Okay. You think we hate me now? I read that part. Okay. You will want to murder me more than you already do. You don't have control of yourself right now. No. She says, I don't hate you. I plotted to take you and I did, but that's not the least of the worst things I have done. I am not a good man, but I am trying to be right now. And she says, I don't want you to be good. I want you. And he says, you are going to hate that you begged me to kiss you, but even without my blood in you, I know you never stopped wanting me. But when I am inside you again, you will not be able to...
Deep inside you again?
Right.
Oh, is that what it was? I'm sorry.
But when I'm deep inside you again, and I will, you won't be able to blame the influence of blood or anything else.
And I put, our semi-consent king? ?
Right.
I mean, he's not doing it yet. He's saying you'll want it.
You will give me consent because you'll want to.
Poppy says, Poppy realizing that Hawk is Castile, and then I don't know who said this. Is this Poppy or Castile?
What?
We didn't make love. We had just fucked. And I said, no, I don't believe it. But is that him saying that?
I think it's Poppy.
Okay. And then she says, you're him. You're the dark one. And he says, I prefer the name Castile or Cass.
I find it really hard after to like
differentiate.
Be like, no, he's Hawk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, now I gotta get used to this new name.
Yeah. So, okay, funny story, little backstory here. So I was trying to figure out the order of the books because like there's a lot of like whatever. And I had clicked on one of them and like, like the wiki gives you like a general whatever. And it said following the adventures of Cass and Poppy. And I'm like, who the fuck is Cass? I'm like, does she not even end up with Hawk? Like what?
Yeah, being upset.
Thank God I didn't keep reading. I'm going to spoil them. But I thought that was funny. I'm like, he's Cass.
There's a book I read, and I'm not going to say it because it'll spoil things. But there's a book I read where like the character goes by a different name at the beginning, and then it switches. So this was like, I'd already experienced
Yeah, you're
this.
like,
So
okay,
you know how to
I've
process it.
Yeah.
basically.
through this once.
Okay, so I wrote here, this was just a sad quote. I said, this is breaking my heart for Poppy. She says, I just wanted to feel special to someone, not just a pawn. He has broken my heart twice now. And I was like,
Right.
Me too.
So can you read this quote in the book, Kristen? It says, so I wrote something, the dagger she was stabbed with was bloodstone. This can't just be a throwaway sentence. This has to mean something. Jumping back to my theory that she could either be part Atlantean, which is how she healed herself when she was attacked by a child. Because it says in the book, like, bloodstone is the only thing that can kill Craven and can kill Atlanteans, right?
I think
But I can't remember what the actual quote was when she quotes it being bloodstone.
Okay. So she's trying to get away from him. His hold loosened enough for me to pull away to sit up. His arm was still at my waist. I placed my hand on the floor to leverage my weight, but my palm glanced off the dagger. The dagger Mr. Tulis had stabbed me with, it was bloodstone. Heart dropping, I looked down at the blade. Grief swelled, closing off my throat. I couldn't breathe around it, around the knowledge that I love the man who'd had a hand in the deaths of so many.
So it
She doesn't really say, it's just, it was bloodstone, and she's like...
Yeah, and then I wrote here, like, that can't be a throwaway comment. I feel
agree.
like...
Yeah.
Like, why would they mention that, you know? And then I put chapter ending with Poppy has just attacked Hawk/Cass with the dagger. Oh my god, right in the heart.
I said, no way he's dead. Literally my only comment for this chapter, no way he's dead.
That's literally the comment.
The only comment.
Meanwhile, I have like 20 bullet points.
No way he's dead.
I was a little like shocked about this. I was like,
Yeah.
huh, what's gonna happen now?
Right?
Because he said, like, he's gone back and, like, we can, like, you can kill us, but it's harder to.
And he actually said, does he actually say it has to be in the heart? Like, why did she just go for the heart? Is that because...
I think it's she's going off her knowledge.
Okay.
Maybe if you're on the bloodstone, isn't the dagger she grabbed the bloodstone dagger and then she stabs him in the heart?
Yeah.
That's probably why.
Okay.
Because she stabs him with the bloodstone dagger
That
in
she
the
saw.
heart.
Right,
That should
right.
kill him.
Yeah. Yeah, at first she was concerned it would. Like that was
Yeah.
how she thought
Yeah.
Atlantean, I guess, was killed.
So how does 39 actually open? Because I'm going into a conversation quote. so I
Hands
clearly
trembling, I let go of the dagger and fell out of his
Just
lap.
runs to the-
I'm sorry. And she runs, and he's like, you're crying.
Okay,
And
so
she
just
says,
run
I'm
it.
sorry, and she runs.
Okay.
And he's like, no, you're not. But I was. And yeah, she runs outside into the snow.
Okay. And then I said Cass grabs her out of nowhere. An Atlantean, unlike a Wolven or a Craven, cannot be killed by a stab to the heart.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, so maybe that's why his eyes are amber and the wolves are blue. Amber means Atlantean, blue means Wolven.
Yeah.
If you wanted to kill me, you should have aimed for the head. But worst of all, you have forgot. Forgot what? That it was real. Burn traveling down her neck, down her whole body. He's drinking from her neck. What is going on? So he tells her,
This
like...
is the moment he learns she's Atlantean, though.
Yes, because he tastes it on her blood, right? That's how
Yeah.
he realizes it. And then I said, she's getting turned on by him drinking her blood now, LOL.
And he's getting turned on.
Yeah.
And then he says, I can't believe it, but I should have known. And I said, does he realize she's part Atlantean? I'm right,
Yes,
aren't I? And
wow.
it's all in caps again.
I didn't even think of that at all when he, like, didn't even cross my mind.
Now he is kissing her. And then I said, Hawk? Consent King? Where go? And then I said, this is the weirdest intro to Spice I have ever read. What is going on?
I know, because it's like there's blood on his lips, like, and
Yeah.
she's just into it.
Yeah, they're getting turned on by the blood drinking.
Let's just chalk that up to them being Atlantean.
Yep. And I said, we
Weirdos.
are reading some spicy hate sex right now, aren't we? LOL.
I didn't write a single note down for this
We
chapter.
were just enjoying the moment.
He's gonna ride this out.
They're banging in the snow. First of all, I'm thinking, like, I guess they don't get cold. Maybe they don't get as...
She does, though.
She does, though.
Because
Yeah,
she's
she was
only a
cold in the
foreigner.
forest.
But she still has his blood in her, doesn't he?
Oh,
and
right.
maybe
she just
that's-
drank
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Because I'm thinking, like,
Good
wouldn't
call.
that be fucking cold? You're
Yeah.
back just in the snow?
Yes.
I like snow, but no thank you.
Yeah.
Maybe if it was Hawk. No, just kidding. I love you, my husband.
Like he'll ever listen to this.
No, he will not. I hope not. God, that'd be weird. Okay, so this is them talking. I don't understand. Understand what? I don't understand any of this. How did this happen? When we first met, I was drawn to you. I could have taken you then, and avoided all of this, but I lost sight of a lot of things. Each time I was around you, I couldn't help but feel that I know you. I think I know why it's been like that. And so is this like him realizing she's Atlantean
I
or
think so.
sensing the bond?
Is this how bad do you want it, Your
I could be wrong.
Highness?
No, he doesn't say it now. I don't think he says it until they're in that room eating dinner and he announces it to everybody.
Yeah.
That they're going to get married, you mean? Yeah.
I think that's when
That's how the book ends.
Is this
that's where
is this how
one that she's Atlantean too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry.
I think that's
have they done it already?
Yes.
You need to get out of this weather. Yes. Okay.
Have they done it already? I was too involved in that part of the
Right.
chapter.
That's what I don't understand. So here we go. Okay. I'm trying to find it. My gift was utterly useless. I was feeling too much to concentrate, so I couldn't even cheat. Because my eyes opened and I looked at him. He was raised on one arm. I'm fine. And she's like, you winced. I saw you. So she can't reach out to see if he's actually hurt. And that's what I don't understand unless I completely imagine the last couple of days. He's like, no, you didn't imagine anything. Do you wish that this right here hadn't happened? And she says, no. Do you? Do you?
Mhm.
No, I hate that you even have to ask that. When we first met, it was like, I don't know. I was drawn to you. I could have taken you then, Poppy. I could have prevented a lot of this from happening, but I lost sight of a lot of things. Each time I was near you, I couldn't help but feel as if I knew you. I think I know why it's been like that. And then he said this like it was the answer to how we'd gone from me stabbing him in the heart to tearing off each other's clothes. I shivered in the cold, damp air as I shook my head again. So she does get cold.
Okay. Well, there you
Just
go.
not in the heat of the moment.
right. Thanks.
See what you did there?
You're cold. Rolling to his feet in one smooth moment, he fastened his pants with the lone button that remained and extended his hands.
Yeah, because he like rips them all off.
Yeah,
And he's
we-
like, shit.
We need to get out of the weather.
And he destroys her clothes too, right?
Mhm.
Probably.
She says, I tried to kill you. And he says, I know, I don't blame you. And she said, you don't. And he says, I lied to you. I betrayed you. I played a role in the death of the people you love. I'm surprised that was the first time you tried. And I don't doubt that it'll be the last time you try.
That's when he's like, damn it, he muttered, reaching for my shirt. It was torn straight down the middle. He gripped the
Yeah, it
sides and pulled them together as if that would repair the material. And then he gives her his shirt.
So he says, I should have known. And she says, known what? Known why they want you so badly when they made you the maiden. Is there anything more to that, or did I just stop
think
the quote?
that's the
Is that hinting at the
hinting at you're
Atlantean-ness?
Atlantean now and they want your blood.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
you have the gift. Like, why wouldn't they want to drink your blood over everyone else's?
And then,
Oh,
sorry, go ahead.
no, sorry. She does mention Atlantean blood, but it's his she's talking about.
Oh, okay. So then I wrote, chapter ends with, come, where are we going? To get you new pants. And after that, I'm taking you home. Home? To Macedonia? Or to Carcedonia? I might have wrote this down wrong. I'm sorry.
No, you're right.
Neither, he smiles with both of his dimples. I'm taking you to Atlantia. And I said, I'm right, aren't
I'm so excited to learn about Atlantis.
I? I know, same.
Same.
It'll be so cool.
I'm very excited.
It makes me think of Atlantis a lot.
Same.
I
And I know it's different, but it just makes me excited.
Okay, so then they run into Kieran on the way in, I'm assuming, because I'm now talking about Kieran.
My first thing is I like Kieran.
Me too. He seems like a cute little brother or something.
But yeah, leaving Kieran as a sentry.
Kieran telling her to go wash because she smells like
Oh, that's
Him.
great.
why'd I write cat? That can't be cat.
Cats.
Oh, that would be Siri typing. Because she smells like Cass, and she said he's wearing his shirt, and he says, that's not what I mean. Followed by a wolfish smile.
Yes.
And I wrote, canine senses, baby!
Because I think he's like being like smile, like he's
Yeah, like
you know,
snark about it,
yeah,
like
yeah.
Yeah. So I said Poppy now believes everything, and Poppy admits she's in love with Cass. So I didn't write down the quotes for that though. And then Kieran coming to check to see if she's still alive in the bath because she was like in there for a really long
I
time,
think she fell
right?
asleep or something, didn't she? Or
Yeah, and isn't he like just like staring at her in the
and
tub
she's
like it was?
get the F out of
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
And what would Cap say? And he's like, he won't care.
My people find scars something to be proud of, not hidden. And she says, well, my people find staring at naked women in the bath to be inappropriate. And he says, your people sound awfully boring. And And then the chapter ends with him saying, I probably skipped a lot. Was there anything else of importance in that
Chuckling,
chapter?
the prince wouldn't want you sitting there in cold, dirty water. You should probably finish up your bath. I don't care what he wants. You should, because he wants you even though he knows better, even though he knows it will end in yet another tragedy. That's how it ends.
And then I wrote, what does it mean? But did anything else happen in that chapter that I skipped over? Because that's literally all my notes. It's probably my smallest chapter.
No. Oh, my people.
I'm curious about his previous person he loved. You know,
Yeah, because he said he's been in love before, right? That's probably what the other tragedy means.
Yeah.
But
I wrote here too, I'm curious on it for words now.
Was he in love with the first maiden?
I know, I've wondered that.
Sorry.
About never trusting Hawk or
True.
True.
In the back of my head.
I'm wondering if I was curious on if her words now about never trusting Hawk are true. I don't remember what made me want to think that, but I feel like it was before the end. Maybe is she thinking in the bath?
I feel like she
Escaping him would be nearly impossible, but I had to try. I don't know.
So chapter 41, I wrote Cass coming to escort her to dinner and her being difficult, but I didn't write.
Yeah, I feel like she's still planning on escaping here, and she was just playing along with the dinner thing, and she's waiting for a chance to escape. From my memory of reading about her internal thoughts in the bath.
And then I put the body of attackers being nailed to the walls around them, and I put gross.
Yeah.
Oh,
and they're still alive.
We're
right?
last one.
And Mr. Toulis was one of them.
Yeah,
right.
I think they're still half alive.
Because I put, I know he hurt her, but I'm sad that Mr. Toulis is dead.
I don't think he's actually.
I don't think they're dead.
Mr. Toulis was, I believe, because I remember him dying, and I was sad about it. Find it in there. See what it says.
I'm working on it.
Nailed to the ceiling or something.
Some of them are still alive, but some of them are not.
Because I think he says something about they'll die when I let them.
And then she makes a comment that says they are still mortal or Atlantean. They still deserve to die. They still deserve dignity in death. And she says they were wrong, but that doesn't make this right.
Yes.
And then he makes so now they're eating the dinner, right?
Yeah.
And then he says, we are leaving tomorrow. And she says, well, I think maybe she's.
Because I think she
was just say
I was
Mr.
hoping
Toulis
to
is dead.
Escape somehow, and now I don't.
Mr. Toulis.
But yeah, then not all of them were dead. One still breathed. Jericho.
So she asks, are we leaving tomorrow? And he says, we're going home. She says, Atlantia is not my home. But it is, at least partly. And then she says, what does that mean? And he says, it means something I should have figured out sooner. So many things will make sense when they didn't. So many things now make sense when they didn't before. Why they made you the maiden. Why you survived the Craven attack. Your gift. You're not mortal, Poppy. At least not completely. Are you
so your gift is explained? So he has more insight on her gift now too? That's interesting.
Apparently, because it says your ... gift. Are you suggesting she's so someone else must say this. You're not suggesting she's ... and he says part Atlantean. Yes. And I said, I fucking knew it. I knew it.
I wrote, did we also guess that Poppy was part Atlantean?
We did. We very did. And I put he knew after tasting it in her blood. I wrote, I don't know what I'm talking about here because I was in a swarm of trying to jot stuff down, but I put full-blooded brother. Is there a chance that they're only half? Maybe Ian didn't ascend. Never mind. He hasn't been seen during the day. So I don't know what I was talking about there. Does it mention full-blooded brother?
My mother and father were mortal. How can you be sure? You thought I was mortal, but my brother, he's an ascended now. That's a good question.
Maybe
Delano tacked on. Only for working off the assumption that he is your full-blooded brother, he said, and I gasped.
Okay.
So Hawk saying that, or that he is even ascended, someone commented. And then Hawk saying, your brother's alive. And Poppy's like, how can you be sure? I've had eyes on him for months, Poppy. He hasn't been seeing during the day. I can only imagine that means he's an ascended.
Okay. So
someone's like, why would they keep me alive if they already knew?
Because she was saying, well, how can he be an ascended if he's my
Atlantean.
brother?
Yes.
Because I'm Atlantean. And he said, well, that's only if we're assuming
Yes.
that full-blooded brother. Okay.
So either he's not Atlantean and they're making people think he is, or no, sorry, ascended. But they're playing it off like he is, or he is ascended and
they're not full siblings. Yeah. I don't know who's talking here. I didn't write notes. I was getting too excited. Why would they keep me alive if they knew? And he says
that's Poppy.
Okay. And he says, why do they keep my brother? She was going to become their people turning slave. Oh, that's me talking. She was going to become their people turning slave. So yeah. And then book ends. Did you know that an Atlantean can only marry when they were both standing on home soil? We go home to marry, my princess. And I said, what? This is how it ends?
And there's no consent there.
Yes.
Yes. My next comment was like, I don't know how I feel about him seemingly not giving her a choice in marrying him.
Yeah. But maybe it's because the bond and she just doesn't know yet, but still he should be explaining that.
But yeah, I'm like, I really want to be like, yes, but like, no,
I
where'd
know.
our consent king go?
King, where go?
I think
Come
I
back.
think it will happen more in the next. I think
Like, I don't know if maybe it's something he sensed in her that
Maybe.
like they want to be, and so like
Maybe
he
the
knows.
bond. I think it's the bond.
Yeah,
I think it's the
so.
bond.
I was just like, excuse
I know it did
me.
seem very like, just so you know, this is where you're going and this is what's happening.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I was like, consent.
Me miss consent, sir. So yeah, that is the end of this first book. I very much enjoyed this
Me too.
series. This
book?
I should say. It's very not done. There's lots more.
Which is good. 'cause
Yes.
you read more.
But I feel like it really picked up in the second half. Like,
Oh,
agree.
for sure. Yeah.
like the first half was definitely good, but I wasn't like hooked. And then like the second half, I was like,
It flew by. I thought
Yeah.
that it wasn't as long. But
Yeah.
It was just because I was so into it. that
Yeah,
it was,
you were, like,
I felt
flying
the
through
exact
it.
same.
Yeah, I was
I'm
like,
like,
oh,
how is this
done.
like? No, this can't be right.
And yeah, so we left on that cliffhanger. So we're going to start reading the first half of the next book, which is going to be our next episode. It's going to be covering chapters 1 through 23. So hopefully we find out about Atlantia. That will be pretty
There's
cool.
so much I want.
Yeah. So anyway, we will chat with you guys then. Amanda, would you like to tell the people where they can find us again?
Oh, I would love to. If you could follow us, like us, comment on all your social media, whatever is your favorite, at Your Bookmark Pod, and send us an email, yourbookmarkpod@gmail.com. Thank you for your consideration in following us, and chat with you all at the next chapter.